in the bank's pneumatic tubes. You will be provided with a bank-compatible check or just cash. The Missouri Lottery. Play responsibly.
Cap off the NFL Week 5 slate with a chance for a big win on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win a bet on tonight's game. Let's build the same game parlay for Monday Night Football, Saints and Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes over the passing yards, Alvin Kamara over the rushing yards, and Travis Kelce with an anytime touchdown. Just visit FanDuel.com/610Bob to make every moment more this season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Tune in this week to kick off with Boomer and Valenti to hear the Sims Spotlight featuring Super Bowl winning quarterback Phil Simms. Brought to you by Balance of Nature. Balance of Nature supplements. Changing the world one life at a time.
Join 96.5 The Fan and Bud Light for the Fans Football Show with Mitchell Schwartz and Jay Binkley every Thursday in September starting at 6 at participating Buffalo Wild Wings locations. Enjoy $5 talls, prizes, and Chiefs gear. For a list of locations, go to 965thefan.com. Tune in to Vern's On Deck Show 1 hour before first pitch on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, here we go on a Monday. It's Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. What a Monday it is in Kansas City.
Couple of things going on.
Just a few things. Just a few, of course. Royals, ALDS, Game 2 tonight in the Bronx. Cole Ragans on the bump. We are going to talk plenty about that throughout the show. Josh Vernier is going to join us at 12:30, our Royals Insider. Reminder, the Royals-Yankees game is later on this evening over on The Fan, 6:10 a.m. And then we have Chiefs, Monday Night Football, Saints in town. Chance to stay undefeated heading into the bye week. What does this wide receiver room look like with no Rice, no Hollywood Brown? All of that is in play today. And by the way, the Chiefs game, pregame coverage starts at 4 o'clock this afternoon right here on your home for the Chiefs, 96.5 The Fan. So it's a busy day. I hope everybody had a good weekend. I know Saturday was stressful. Saturday night, much like most postseason baseball, I mean, that game was just so intense. It was a hell of a baseball game. I know it didn't end, and we're going to talk about issues throughout the game and things like that, but that was a great baseball game.
Sometimes, because it's been a while since we saw like regular postseason baseball, I forget about things that I don't remember exist. Like, I forgot how much I hate the other fans being happy. I hate him. I hate him for being happy at my misery. And so, like, that just makes me even more irrationally mad at the game. And you just find yourself living and dying on those pitches. And so the playoff stuff, it just like, it brings back all these emotions you didn't realize you had towards other fan bases or people of those fan bases or a million other things. But yeah, it was an excellent baseball game that ended up pissing me off because of the way that it ended and because they lost a game that I felt like they had control of a couple of different times inside the game, even though it was only a one-run lead for every team the entire way and back and forth, more lead changes, I think, than any game in postseason history. So just like it was back and forth and wild. But the thing everyone's talking about is the thing you would expect everyone to be talking about. Michael Massey seemingly getting a tag down on Jazz Chisholm, only for Major League Baseball to take a nice hard look at it to end up nowhere.
Strike him out, throw him out, feel like, okay, all right, get out of the jam. Not quite.
He's going. Swing and a miss. Throw is high. And Chisholm steals second. Checking to see whether it's worth it to challenge.
Well, the problem with Chisholm is the slide.
Yeah, maybe.
He lands a little short and pops up, and does Massey get the tag in on time? Yes, he does.
I spoke too soon. It's at least close enough to check.
Yeah, he's going to be out at second base just because it was a bad slide.
How about that?
He came up 6 inches too short, and Mathieu with the wherewithal to slap the tag down. Outstanding play. Chisholm had been 14 for 16 on stolen base attempts from the 7th inning on, but I believe he's going to be out.
So that was
that's the most frustrating thing to hear after you know what happened.
Everybody, I mean, obviously, like depending on who you were watching the game with in Kansas City, everybody thought he was out, but those are neutral parties involved. There was the post-game audio from David Ortiz as well, talking about it, and others. It was a bad call. It was a horrendous call. It was a mistake. He was out. MLB postseason replay review, same problem as at times we saw with the Royals in the regular season. I'll say this. Let's talk about this for a second, and then I want to talk about what are, I think, bigger problems, because
other things that led to the loss?
Yeah, because like this was a terrible call, and I was pissed off in the moment, as I'm sure everybody was. I also hate being, because we criticize on the football side fan bases that say, this call. So I hate that. I hate saying that's why the Royals lost. It was part of the equation. It was a terrible call after overturn. I don't know what they saw.
At an incredibly important moment of the game.
It was terrible. But man, when you see that particular circumstance play out, I thought Michael Massey's post-game comments were 100% fitting for the situation that, man, if that's a play that we can't get correct, then how am I supposed to believe any play can be correctly called through replay review?
Okay, so nobody can claim that I'm just saying this now, because my stance has been very firm on this show for years now. No, I do not think that is the single biggest reason why they lost the game. Did it have an impact? Well, I'm not an idiot. Of course it had an impact on whether or not they lost the game. It was at the most pivotal moment of the game, and the very next hitter, who, he still could have gotten out and saved himself the trouble of getting the run in, was eventually the game-winning run. But if this is the way replay works, abolish it. It's stupid. I have to stop myself from cussing sometimes because, like, the urge to be like, this is the dumbest, stupid system that if Gold can agree, Yankees fan can agree, Yankees broadcasters can agree, and I listened to their call. Royals broadcasters, the national call, when they toss back to Ortiz and A-Rod, can all agree that he's out. Everyone agrees he's out. Everyone except for the man who stole the base, Jazz Chisholm. Pretty sure he's never going to say it. Everyone agrees he's out. And Major League Baseball's like, not enough evidence. I'm like, but how? How can all of society agree that one thing is one way? And you're trying to tell me that you're like, well, we can't, there's not a pressure sensor in Massey's glove, so we can't be sure that he actually tagged him. It's stupid. If you're going to get it wrong, I've already said this before, just abolish it. Then he's safe. He gets the single. I always question that he was out. But so what? It's the system. There is no replay. Their replay is the worst in every sport. Tennis is better. Football's better. They're all better. It stinks. They're not even subjective. This is the difference between football and baseball. It drives me crazy. Pass interference is technically subjective. Yeah, you can always like hold a little or pass interfere or those things and kind of maneuver the things inside. He's either out or not. There's no subjectivity to out. He got tagged before he touched the base. He's out. So like, yes, there are other things, but I hate Major League Baseball replay. And postseason just kind of pissed me off.
This is what Michael Massey had to say post-game. This was courtesy of 41 here in Kansas City. They were out in New York talking to him about the call and really just replay in general.
Yeah, I mean, I actually just got back from watching the video, so it's frustrating because the video that I saw looked pretty convincing to me. So I know they said they didn't see anything, but in my opinion, it's one of those things where if that's something that's not going to be overturned, then I don't really know what's clear and convincing. And I'm not really sure the whole point of the system if a call like that is not going to, I saw we tagged up the photos and you could see clear contact, and then you could see the daylight between his foot and the base. And I mean, if we're looking for more evidence than that, then I think a lot of calls need to start staying the same as they were called on the field. So, but with that being said, that's not the reason we lost the game. We had plenty of opportunities to score runs and make plays. We didn't, and frustrating. But we'll be back at it on Monday.
I think that last part is ultimately where I sit because we're
dead right
in the moment. Everybody's pissed off. It was a terrible call, and I'm not saying that nobody should be upset about that. Still, I'm not saying that it didn't factor in the game, but let's also recognize they walked 8 batters in that game. Angel Serpa in the 5th inning in particular, he couldn't get a single out. He walked 2. He just didn't have it period.
Walked in 2 runs.
We'll talk about Q's decision making, and this is the on one hand, it works great the game before. He's praised for moving on from Lugo, and then Serpa is amazing. And then here's the other side of it, right? This is why I never think you get too high or too low about one particular managerial decision, because it ultimately is, does the player execute or not? And we saw it. We saw that play directly with the same player involved. He executed the last time out, and then on Saturday night, Angel Serpa, of course, did not execute. They could not throw strikes, man. This team could not throw strikes on Saturday night. That, to me, is the bigger problem of the game. And we'll talk about some other individual circumstances. You know, they saw Garrett Cole great throughout the entire outing. I mean, from the very first inning, we saw they jumped on him. Yeah. Some loud outs. It happens kind of thing. But ultimately, to me, it was more the pitching. The bullpen, in a tough back-and-forth game, really struggled. I don't know if it was, hey, we're not going to let Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, Stanton beat us, and so we're going to be really careful how we pitch to them. That's fine, but at some point, man, you got to throw strikes. And there was one particular one, if we want to nitpick, that, yeah, it looks like a strike, but I would also say the Royals were a beneficiary of a couple that probably went against Juan Soto.
It was a bad zone, I think, on
throughout
both
the
sides.
night. Yeah. But, man, oh, man, the pitching and lack of throwing strikes, it sounds so simple, but there's nothing that's actually more frustrating, even more than the replay stuff to me, is though when you are just walking base runners home, man. I would rather them hit a 2-run double to deep left field.
I'd rather hit a grand slam. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, I mean,
then watch people walk runs home.
That's the worst. And we saw that a couple times on Saturday night.
So the single biggest reason they lost is that the pitching wasn't good enough. Now, I'll say, thought they got rid of Walker a little too soon.
Yep.
For the same reasons we talked about in that previous inning, you're asking a lot of bullpen arms to be having their day inside a Yankee Stadium against one of the best lineups in Major League Baseball. That's a big ask. I think I'd rather let Walker get it. Here's the sucky part, is that the same thing goes down to execution. If Walker gets out number 1, I actually think they let him face Soto with the bases empty. And then even if Soto gets on base, I bet because of the career record, they let him face Judge. So Walker, in a weird way, made his own bet. If he had just not walked the leadoff hitter, just got a ground out, a fly out, I think he actually stays in that game and continues to pitch. But because he had issued yet another walk, they decided to go to the bullpen early.
I think it was that, and also his third time through the lineup. You know, at that point in time, 3 days before that, they pulled Lugo earlier, and every move works because every pitcher executed. That wasn't the case. The other thing, though, it's interesting. Anytime the Royals are in postseason, it seems like we're talking about a third base coach making a decision one way or the other. That was awful. That was terrible. You guys know what we're talking about. The third base opportunity, Salvador Perez, Juan Soto's in right field. Before Salvi even turns third, Soto has the ball in his glove already. He's getting ready to throw. I don't know what was going on there. In the second inning, you could have bases loaded and nobody out. You were seeing Garrett Cole well.
Only got one run that inning. Should have been more than one.
Yeah, and yes, Gurriel had made a heads-up play. He goes from second to third, thank goodness. So it still allows you to tag up on the sacrifice fly, the next batter or whatever later. But that was horrendous at that point. I mean, he wasn't even close, dude. It didn't even take like an amazing throw from Juan Soto. That's on everybody involved in that circumstance. Third base coach will take heat, of course. But
Vance should wear it. I mean, it's his job to tell Salvi whether or not to go.
I understand.
He blows through a stop sign. We're having a different conversation.
I understand, man.
I'm sure there's some scouting that suggested they need to be aggressive on those plays.
Salvador Perez is one of the slowest. Is maybe the slowest player in the series.
That's Giancarlo Stanton, and I will not hear otherwise. Did you see that play, Mike Helgar? Or that Massey got him out on? No way that Salvi's the slowest player.
You, Stanton, and Salvador Perez in a hot dog derby.
I'm winning. Are you kidding?
Maybe.
Are you kidding?
Maybe.
Stanton is moving at glacial speed.
I mean,
dude, Salvi's faster than Stanton. I'm beating Stanton. I might lose to Salvi, but I'm beating Stanton. He can't even move, dude. He can't even move. But that's the whole problem.
There's too many mistakes in the playoffs. I mean, how many things have we listed off here? Yes, a bad replay call that doesn't get overturned, which was BS. Sending Salvi when he shouldn't have been sent. Serpa not throwing strikes. I mean, this is why you lose a baseball game. It was a great game. You lose by a run, and you were still in the game despite making all these mistakes.
The middle of your order didn't come through.
That's why you lose. I mean, look how many things we've listed off.
Yes, but it's not going to make me less mad about that.
I'm not saying you should be mad. I'm just saying
the Yankees would have still gotten 3 more outs in order to try to tie it. It's just that it all just boils down to the same. You have the worst replay system on the planet. You never get it right. I guess what it is like the intentionally vague language of these leagues to be like clear and convincing. What the hell does that even mean? Like, I thought if we saw daylight and a glove on, that's pretty clear and convincing to me. and the rest of society, so I don't understand. But you're right. The walks are the bigger problem. You cannot put 8 free runners on base. Do you know how many times they walked the leadoff hitter? 4. If anybody's ever listened to a Denny Matthews radio call on this station, 96.5 The Fan, they know how Denny feels about leadoff walks in important innings. It always ends poorly. The history of baseball, it ends poorly. That's just another example of a time when it was going to go poor for you. Now, here's the good news. You didn't get walked out of the building again. This is still a very good Royals team who was back and forth with a really good Yankees team. I didn't feel like they were overmatched offensively, overmatched in the bullpen, overmatched in the starting rotation, even though they were throwing their best starter and the Royals were throwing their third best starter. So you've got the starting advantage in the game tonight. So, like, there are things I can feel okay about. The offense is actually one of them. Weird enough.
Yeah.
Middle of the order did nothing, and they still hit.
Yeah, that was promising. They saw Garrett Cole really, really well, and even some of the other bullpen arms, of course, that came in the game. And we'll see with Carlos Rodon tonight, who the Royals actually did hit when they played earlier on in the season. But on both sides, a game that ends up being 6-5, you get 11 runs, it goes way over the over-under total for the game in the betting markets. You didn't see on either side that the Stars really beat you, right? I mean, like, Juan Soto is the one name. Aaron Judge, though, 0 for 4, had the key walk. Stanton had 1 walk, 0 for 4. On the Royals side, Bobby Witt Jr., 0 for 5. Vinny Pasquantino, 0 for 5. Salvi, 1 for 4. It wasn't a game in which the Stars at the plate necessarily directly with hits. Now, did it make a difference? Is that why there were some walks? Absolutely. I won't act like they were a non-factor. But in terms of actually...
They didn't get the big hit for their teams.
And is that going to carry over? I mean, on the Royals end, I think the promise is that you were able to have MJ Melendez, who whenever they need a big hit randomly in the season, it seems like even in a bad year, he's come up with those. But you got Yuli, you got MJ Melendez, Tommy Pham, heck, Garrett Hampson, a key pinch hit at bat. I know he hits a lot of heat, but he comes up with a key pinch hit at bat. That is promising, sure, heading into tonight. But I find it hard to believe, much like we said going into Saturday's game, like I don't think you're winning any of these games 2-1 or 1-0, and it was 6-5. 5 wasn't even good enough. I don't think tonight, if the Royals are going to win tonight, and I feel great with Cole Ragans on the mound.
I feel like there's a better chance I can win a 2-1 game tonight.
I don't know if they win without Bobby, Vinny, or Salvi coming through with an RBI on their own. Like, you know what I mean? They almost won with Bobby Witt Jr. going 0 for 5.
Yeah. Well, but that's at least the rest of the lineup shut up. You know, MJ Melendez had the big 2-run home run, which was big. Even though it's a short porch, we can talk about the stadium in a minute. But the MJ Melendez home run, we said he'd probably come up big. And you mentioned the Garrett Hampson at bat. But yeah, they're going to, I mean, come on, let's just face reality. There's no way the Royals win a playoff series against the New York Yankees, where more of their games are on the road than at home, if Bobby, Vinny, and Salvi are going to be non-contributors.
Yeah.
They know that. I'm not telling any, if they were listening to the show, which they're probably not, if they were listening to the show right now from New York, they understand that they can't win this series or win baseball games without those guys being contributing. The weird reason why I feel good about it is, for the longest time, it felt like the only way they could win is if those guys contributed. They could have won that game, even without any of the three of them making a difference for them in the lineup. Now, I'm sure the Yankees can say the same thing, in which we won the game, and none of our guys, well, Soto did.
Soto's
the rest of the
one.
guys
he was 3
did not contribute because Aaron Judge has just generally been not a very good postseason performer.
They're saying the same thing about MJ coming up with the big hits, but like, I don't know about you, seeing, Gleyber Torres and Alex Verdugo be 2 of their most impactful hitters was frustrating. It's weird. I mean,
why are Verdugo? Why are you in a weird way? You'd almost rather be beat by Aaron Judge.
You absolutely would, but also this is why the Yankees are really good. Their lineup is they have a really impressive lineup. Just when you think you got through, the tough part of the order, they still have other guys that are capable. But Austin Wells and Verdugo having the games they did were frustrating. The Royals, slight dogs again, not quite as big of underdogs as they were because Garrett Cole's not pitching.
Sure,
but,
it's Cole Ragans.
It's Cole Ragans though, and you feel good. I mean, that's the last time the Royals have had a pitcher. It's weird in this postseason. There's 3 games, but only one of them, and his name is Cole Ragans, has actually gone past the 5th inning. Some of it we could argue about, was he pulled too early, Lugo or Waka?
We'll get into the bullpen decisions
we're going to talk about that later. But otherwise, tonight, I mean, virtually don't care what the scenario is. Like, Cole Ragans has to be pitching in the 6th inning.
He's got to be getting himself out of his own trouble.
Yeah, like, if Cole Ragans is not pitching in the 6th inning tonight, I think the Royals are in deep you-know-what. Like, I don't care if I agree. He has to be pitching in the 6th inning.
It's gone pretty bleak, but also you have to kind of treat this like a do or die game because Are you really coming from 2 down? Like, are you coming from 0-2? I mean, they're great at Kauffman. I'm not saying it's 0% chance, but boy.
Well, yeah, then you're.
I mean, it almost feels like you're walking into a funeral on Wednesday at Kauffman Stadium, which is not what you want the feeling to be going into the stadium.
I don't know about that. Like, I think clearly fans will think it's over to a certain extent, but and tonight is massive for obvious reasons. You split, and it's a whole different vibe. It guarantees you 2 home games. All of a sudden, you're in position to clinch at home. It's a huge swing tonight, one way or the other. But I think no matter what, even if the Royals were down 2-0, I'm not worried about what the atmosphere is going to be at Kauffman Wednesday. I think we know how.
I just meant going into the stadium, not the actual.
But it definitely changes. I mean, tonight is just you can't overstate how massive splitting those in New York would be. We said that going into the series. Can you come back with a split? That's all you got to do. And that is still in front of them. That's still a possibility. Saturday was uber frustrating, but what we said they need to do is still right there tonight. Still right there tonight for the Royals, which would be the split. You come back, and then all of a sudden, you have the advantage. I mean, at that point, it's a split, and you have the advantage because the next 2 are at the K. So, tonight is massive. I know everybody will be like, oh, well, the Yankees, they'll be happy with a split. I don't know about that.
I don't think they'd be happy with a split. Now, they already got game 1.
Not when they are in a position to make it to where the Royals have to win out. Not when the Royals would have to win out the rest of the way if they can't get it done tonight.
Yeah, it was. I know that I should feel worse because like the middle of their order did not perform, but in a lot of ways because they were able to produce runs in ways that's the best the offense has looked in a month, and they did it without the middle of their order. Like if they somehow put the 2 things together in a single game, well, they might really put some runs on the board, and that is something we haven't seen them do. We know that they can win via pitching. That's how they've won a huge majority of this season. But they can occasionally win a game in which their offense is the deciding factor for why they won it. Well, then we're having a conversation,
Is today the day where Salvador Perez breaks out of this semi-slump, whatever you want to call it, he's in? Against Carlos Rodon, 12 hits, 3 homers, 9 RBI, 461 batting average, 846 slug. Those are the numbers for Salvi against Rodon. So those are favorable. Those also go back to many, many years. I understand that. But if you're looking for some reason to feel optimistic, there's that from Salvador Perez. There's also the fact that Cole Ragans last time out against the Yankees, 6 innings, 7 Ks, gave up 3 hits, 2 earned run. You'd sign up for that stat line, 6 innings, 2 earned? Yeah. Or does that make you nervous still? Do you think he needs to be better than that? That's
I don't know how in a playoff game you wouldn't accept that.
With that lineup, in that stadium.
I don't know how you don't just like if you made me lock it in, I'd be like, but maybe you could do better. No, I definitely think, as you said, in that stadium under those circumstances, I'm locking in. Speaking of the stadium, I know that this is they're always going to make the argument to be like this goes both ways. That is the dumbest stadium in the league. I'm sorry. These little pop-ups. Every time there's like a can of corn to right field, I got to worry the ball's going out of the park. Every time there's a little can of corn, I got to worry about a home run getting hit. And I know MJ got one too. They both got the same amount of weak-ass home runs in the game
in a span of 15 minutes, I sent out a tweet that said, did I mention how much I hate right field? 15 minutes later, did I mention how much I love right field? Because MJ Melendez did come up with a home run.
Melendez lifts it high in the air, deep to right field. Soto's back at the fence, leaps, it's out of here! Into the first row of seats. MJ Melendez returns the favor.
You can't even hear the crack of the bat in the replay. Can you start the beginning of that? Did it even crack?
The pitch.
Yeah, come on now.
Crack.
It's a
pretty low. Like instead I got off the end. Like it doesn't.
I get the frustration.
It's a dumb ballpark.
It's annoying, but hey, that's why MJ Melendez had a home run as well. And it's why hopefully tonight Vernier or Salvi has a home run. You know what I mean?
But then you know what I guess part of the problem is? There's 2 things. One, pretending like, hey, anybody can take advantage of this, fine. But one team practices in it 81 times a year, builds their team around it. A million things,
that's the argument for regular season stats, the Aaron Judge, Bobby MVP conversation. That's the argument of just, hey, the win-loss.
Steroid users in if you're going to let Aaron Judge's home runs count as like he actually hit 55 in that building.
Come playoff time, to me, it shouldn't be as frustrating. Regular season, I think it skews a ton of stats, majorly, especially in the MVP conversation. In the playoffs, you're going to play 2, maybe 3 games in that ballpark in this series if you're the Royals. And in the first game, they got one out, before, and then MJ answered, right? I mean, it's frustrating to watch, but also I would say if MJ Melendez is hitting home runs to right field, then I would call it kind of an even thing.
I also couldn't believe that this is a thing, so I had to go down a rabbit hole. I had tons of Yankees fans in my mention talking about how the analytics support that Kauffman Stadium is a more hitter-friendly park than that.
What analytics support that?
Than that of New York, and than that of than Yankee Stadium. And my thought is, are you blind? Are you a dumb person? Like, sometimes you don't have to just take these things. Like, anybody who's watched this sport for more than half a second knows that Yankee Stadium is better for hitters than Kauffman. I don't care what number is saying. Maybe it's because of, like, the gaps or something.
I think that probably is what they're pointing to.
But are we insane here? Someone hit a home run with an exit velocity of like 81 miles an hour this year in Yankee Stadium. There is no way on earth you're going to convince me ever that Yankee Stadium is less of a hitter-friendly park than Kauffman. This is a crazy notion. I mean, this is nuts. I just.
You're way more bugged by the replay review thing. I understand the stadium
replay thing. Yeah.
The stadium thing, like, I mean, sure. I just, like this is where they've been playing for X amount of years now, since they moved from old Yankee Stadium. Yeah. This is how it is. I mean, Houston for a while had a damn hill in the middle of the outfield. So I mean,
like it is. It's Can we set like a base, like a minimum? That's all I'm saying. Minimum, maximum.
It all goes back to your hate of Derek Jeter. I think it's
like,
the Yankees.
I guess,
Yankees. You.
We definitely hate the Yankees.
Yeah.
But Cody, you have a different level of hate for the Yankees.
Yeah, that might be it. I'll say though, like, would you like it if the Royals built a stadium and it was 600 feet to center? You down on that? Like all these other teams coming
touching I-70.
The old polo grounds, man. Like, can we just set a minimum and maximum? That's all I'm asking. Yeah. Small request, minimum and maximum. I don't want to see a stat anymore that is, this would only be a home run in one stadium, which was
I hear you.
The home runs. It didn't have an impact. I'm not saying it had an impact on the results of the game on the weekend. It didn't. It didn't have an impact.
Tonight, the Royals are hitting 3 home runs. Mark the tape. 3 home runs to right field. And tomorrow, I want you to say you still hate it when it leads to a walk-off. Not a walk-off, it wouldn't be, but a game-winning home run.
Vinny's going to hit 2 home runs, and you can't complain because Vinny's going to hit 2 home runs.
I guess I got out in the second row. Vinny earns his home runs, Not cheated. He's got to hit him out of Kauffman.
Like double down.
I do think from the baseball standpoint, it is kind of stupid the way we judge like Steroid or all these like we don't pretend like there's other mitigating factors. Like we still let in the guys for Coors, like before Coors got the humidifier, right? The numbers were all
Coors Field in Colorado for those that are.
The numbers were nuts, right? Yeah. At Coors for all those years. It's fine. Like if that's the way it's going to be, Aaron Judge gets his home run, he gets to be in the Hall of Fame. Well, then put Barry Bonds in. They're both a giant advantage. Like Aaron Judge, the stats are out there. He hit like 37 home runs this year, not 60.
I don't disagree. The argument is one is, hey, that's where he signed and he was playing in the ballpark, quote unquote, not his fault. The other is he injected himself.
But I would say like everybody was doing it, and it was like the state of baseball.
We don't have to have a whole by the way, I've told you I think there should absolutely be a steroid wing of the Hall of Fame. That's fine. I'm not one of these people that thinks they shouldn't be in.
You say put a wing.
Yeah, just have a wing. It's part of baseball's history. The museum is supposed to be about the history of the game. Yeah. That is part of the history of the game, the steroid era. But anyway, up next, though, let's talk a little Chiefs, and we'll get back to the Royals. Of course, there's a huge Monday Night Football game in Kansas City tonight. Oh. The injury is one of the big stories going in, though. Let's talk about that and the impact it's going to have against the Saints.
Cody and Gold.
I didn't sleep well. I was drunk.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
Men, this is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. It seems like everything we hear these days is about political races, and yet there's a far more important race that you run for yourself every day. It's the race to be the best that you can be. But if your libido is low, if your workouts aren't productive, if you've got brain fog and you're tired all the time, you may feel like you're losing that race, and maybe even that your best days are behind you. But the truth is that they're likely not, because if you're feeling like this, it's probable you're simply suffering from low testosterone, a condition that affects a huge percentage of men as we age. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating low T. We've successfully treated thousands of men for the condition, and if you're like most guys, you'll start seeing results in just a few weeks. Better sleep patterns, higher energy, improved mental clarity, more productive workouts, and your libido will likely increase as well. So get back to winning your race by calling us. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Cap off the NFL Week 5 slate with the chance for a big win at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. New customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win a bet on tonight's game. All right, let's make a same-game parlay for Sunday Night Football. I'm going to take the Chiefs on the money line. I'm going to take an anytime touchdown for Kareem Hunt. Feels like he gets in the end zone today. I'm also going to take the under on Alvin Kamara rush yards. The Chiefs have been really good at stopping the run. Don't miss your chance to get in on the action. You can place that same-game parlay on FanDuel. Use my promo code CDOT. FanDuel.com/CDOT to make every moment more this season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus pass, which expires 7 days after restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
It's Bob Fesco, and I'm here with my friend Brian Manning of Manning Roofing. We know you guys are the best in the business when it comes to the roofing industry, but what truly separates you from everybody else?
We have a great group of people that take care of our homeowners. Our number one goal is homeowner satisfaction, and we won't compromise the quality of our materials or the quality of our labor to do that.
If you want to set up an appointment with Manning Roofing like I did, check them out at manninggc.com or 816-448-8208. Manning is my one-stop shop for roofs, gutters, siding, and windows. The choice is simple. It's Manning Roofing.
Is your everyday congestion preventing you from enjoying life's big moments? Try Vicks Sinex Saline today and get yourself back in the action. Vicks Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion with a gentle ultrafine mist. Sinex Saline's drug-free, no-mess formula instantly moisturizes and soothes dry, irritated nasal passages for quick and effective relief. Get back to enjoying life's big moments to the fullest without having to worry about everyday congestion holding you back. Just Sinex, breathe, use as directed.
With Labor Day savings at the Home Depot, you can get up to $1,500 off select appliances from top brands like LG, America's most reliable line of appliances, like the LG Smart Top Load Washer with easy unload angled front, so you can reach every last sock. Right now, get up to $1,500 off select appliances in-store and online with Labor Day savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid August 22nd through September 11th. U.S. only. See store online for details. America's most reliable line of appliances per independent study.
In business, success is never by chance. You know that better than anyone. So why settle for a marketing agency that gambles with your money? At Scale Marketing, we've been in your shoes. Our founders successfully owned and operated businesses long before becoming marketers. They understand the business of, well, business. We specialize in performance marketing for mid-sized B2C companies with teams of over 100 people, from traditional and digital marketing to media buying, data science, and creative production. Scale Marketing manages it all. Our tailored strategies drive measurable growth, turning your challenges into opportunities. Imagine your company leading the market, not just participating in it. That's what we do at Scale Marketing. Don't let your business growth plateau or underperform. Scale Marketing will pinpoint exactly what you need to focus on, ensuring your success isn't left to chance. Take your business to the next level with Scale Marketing. Visit scalemarketing.com today. That's scalemarketing.com.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or two half-geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery on select smart beds when you add any base. Ends Labor Day. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up! and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of consumer cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Hey, Mike Valeni here, host of Cash the Ticket alongside my partner Jim Costa. It's really simple. Are you tired of podcasts claiming they're a bunch of pro bettors when they live in their mommy's basement? Are you tired of podcasts that claim they hit 80% of the games when really they just lose like most of us? Then Cash the Ticket's the spot for you. We're real, we're transparent, we're having a hell of a good time with it, and we sit there and we're there for the sweat with you guys. We're just trying to figure it out just like you. Follow and listen to Cash the Ticket on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Circa Resort and Casino when KC travels to Vegas. Calling all KC football fans to Vegas. Join us at Circa Resort and Casino this October as we huddle up at Overhang Bar, catching some of the game day action at the world's largest sportsbook or lounge at Stadium Swim. Book your experience today. Visit circalasvegas.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
All right, back here on a Monday, just getting started. It's Cody and Gold. You guys can always hit us up on the Jay's Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. Someone from the 816 said, hey, guys, hate to ask, but can I get a birthday shout-out? It's a Monday. I can maybe bring us some luck. My name is Zach. Best birthday ever with the Chiefs and Royals playing. Happy birthday, Zach. There you go. Whatever good vibes we need to create in this city, we'll do it today.
You're doing happy birthdays now, huh?
Yeah,
Nice.
Whatever. You know,
right.
It's
his birthday.
Today is special. Yeah, it is his birthday, not yours. not yours. But
it's his birthday.
We need good vibes in the city today, all right? It's a big day. It's a massive day. It means tomorrow morning could be a great day or it could be a depressing day in this town.
Or a split, where I'm like a little sad but also happy.
Let's be real. As much as I want the Chiefs to be undefeated, one team might have their season virtually end with a loss tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go with
the other one will have nothing changed.
The other one will be just fine no matter the result. But of course, I want both to win. I feel good about both chances. But I'll admit, on the Chiefs front, let's talk about what is reality for them, and that is it's a banged-up team. And I know nobody is feeling sorry for them. Nobody should. Every team is banged up in the league. I mean, just look across the NFL. It is insane. There's very few teams that are actually healthy. You know, if you look at contenders.
There are a lot of major injuries in the league this year.
Big time. And so, yeah, the injuries are a story tonight. In particular, we're talking about the wide receiver room and what does that look like? What's the dynamic going to be there? Are we back to just seeing Justin Watson and Juju Smith-Schuster have to come up with big third down conversions and what is otherwise a very frustrating evening at Arrowhead from an offensive perspective? But, yeah, the injuries, when does it catch up to them?
I'm starting to worry it's now. This is we're going to make our predictions today in the 1 o'clock hour like we typically do ahead of a game. But this is the most worried I've been about them losing in any game I've picked this year. And it's not like they've been without Hollywood Brown before. They have. But now a full game without Rashee Rice. Kareem Hunt is healthy enough to be playing in this game, but he's dinged up. They've had these corners that have been like still recovering from injury a huge chunk of the year. The wide receivers are obviously banged up. It feels like, imagine if there's one other ankle sprain in that group from anybody. I don't even care what level of the wide receiver they're getting at. I'm fearful that the injuries are going to catch up with the Chiefs today. And this is, I'll be honest, this stinks of a Chiefs loss. It reeks of it. Week before a bye week, team that's not playing good football, even though we know that they do have some talent. Derek Carr sneaks up and gets them once every couple of years or so, right? Once every 3 years. It's like the orange, like the super moon. Here comes Derek Carr every 3 years just to come get a win. It just, I can feel it in my bones somehow that this feels like a Chiefs loss. But the injuries are huge.
The Super Bone or which one?
Yeah, the Super Bone specifically.
Okay.
This game specifically feels that way. And I think a big part of it is the injuries. Because I think at some point, both mentally and physically, it catches up with you until you can kind of like rebound and reset. You have to like restart in the bye week, figuring out who you are again. Andy gets to go back to the grindstone before the 49ers, who have their own injury problems, come to, or I guess you go to their town on the other end. It kind of feels like it checks due.
No, I get it. I get why you're thinking that way. I'm sure you're not alone. You guys can let us know on the text line, 913-586-7965. I also think, though, at the same time, to me, it feels like, yet again, Cody, all that's true. All the injuries are true. Team not playing well might be true after tonight as well. And yet we'll be saying they're 5-0 and they're going to the bye week and they've got problems, and yet here we are. Like, I think that's like, how are they 5-0? Like that also is a very realistic scenario. You know, I think it's weird. Before the season started, tonight's game, I would have said, the Saints, doesn't matter. The Saints have been much better. At the same time, they're not playing the same way they were in week 1 and 2 and 3. This is week 1 and 2 in particular. This offense has come back down to earth, talking about the Saints. And so that's what I think this is a lower scoring, really tight game throughout, stressful game. I think, unfortunately, we're going to have a stressful baseball game and a stressful football game at the same time.
On a Monday?
On a Monday night. I think both are happening.
Can you just get that on a Friday, huh?
I mean, the Saints, if you just take a look at where they've been, in week 1, Derek Carr was essentially perfect against a bad Carolina team. They put up 47 points. He had 4 incompletions, 3 touchdowns. In week 2, they beat up on the Dallas Cowboys, who, of course, have been up and down this year. They score 44 against them. Derek Carr only threw 16 passes, but had 2 touchdowns and 243. And then in their losses, Derek Carr, 14-25, $142 to Philly with a touchdown and a pick. Against Atlanta, they lose to a Falcons team that didn't score an offensive touchdown, 24-26. The last 2 weeks, they have come back down to earth after scoring 40-plus points, kind of like what we thought. I think as much praise as Clint Kubiak, their offensive coordinator, got, I think we're starting to see teams adjust. Injuries are absolutely a factor. That's going to be a factor all year because these aren't short-term injuries. You mentioned Hollywood Brown. You mentioned Rashee Rice.
Those are seasons.
That doesn't matter. 5 weeks from now, those guys are still not going to be available. 2 months from now, maybe Isaiah Pacheco is back in the mix, sure. I think what the injuries tell me is that while Kareem Hunt himself, yes, is dealing with a shoulder problem, but he's going to start tonight, he might have to be, and he might be, the second or third most important player on the offense, period, tonight. Like, I think, let's take Mahomes out of it. I think Travis Kelce, and there's an argument to be made, Kareem Hunt might be the second most important reason why they win a football game. Unless I get to just lump
in the offensive line.
Fine. I'm talking skill players, but sure, yeah.
Yeah, because then we're having a slightly different conversation. Look, Aaron Schatz, who's come on the show, he handles like DVOA stats we've talked about. It's an efficiency metric based on how good they think you are on offense, how good you think you are on defense. Like, it's an analytical number, it's a crunched number, and how good you are overall. After tonight, because they already know what the Saints' DVOA is based on where they are, no matter really what happens tonight, the Chiefs will finish the first 5 weeks of the season with, according to their stat, the DVOA stat, the most difficult schedule in the NFL through 5 weeks. If they get through that 5-0, well, then there's just nothing that can stop them from winning football games, you know? Maybe going to the ultimate prize, winning the Super Bowl, the things that we talk about that matter in Kansas City, sure. But winning football games regularly, that's what the Chiefs do best. And if you look at their schedule, they have had a difficult schedule to start. And they still have difficult teams. They still have to take on the Texans, the Bills, the Bucks, the 49ers. I'm not saying there aren't difficult teams on their schedule. But they also get the Raiders twice, the Broncos twice, the Browns, the Panthers. I mean, I got to be honest. Out of just those 6 games I listed, I'd be disappointed if it's not 5-1. So if they're 5-0 after tonight, I got 10-1 before I see the rest of the 6 games they play. Well, I mean, damn, I got 10 like if they win tonight. Yeah, I mean, like it's hard to imagine maybe 11-0 on just those games.
The number 1 seed in the AFC, and it's not even so much it's them, but also the rest of the AFC. I mean, we're going to talk about this more later in the AFC playoff picture, if you will, already from a seeding perspective. And how the contenders are performing. I mean, suddenly Buffalo's lost a couple in a row. Baltimore's won a few. We know where Cincinnati is at. I mean, you just go through the AFC picture right now. Yeah. Nobody is all that. Who else is getting the 14 wins in the AFC? You know what I mean? Who else is getting the 13 right now? I struggle to see who else is capable of getting to that. So, yeah, the flaws are there. You mentioned the DVOA stuff. I mean, yeah, and that's – that part of the schedule we knew going into the season, the first 5 weeks was going to be tricky, and that was before we knew about all the injuries. So that's why, like, nobody should be panicking whatsoever. It sounded like you were thinking they're going to lose tonight. I think it's going to be really tight.
I'm very torn. Either way, I'm predicting a very close game, I'll say. I don't think I've honestly made up my mind. Like, I think if 130 I told you they were losing, I'm not being disingenuous. I don't think... If I think they're winning, it'll come down to just some of the small things. Like, do I think Alvin Kamara in the receiving game is too much? Or do I think they can get one deep pass to Xavier Worthy because, the Saints? Or Dennis Allen in a late game situation that's close versus Andy Reid seems to favor one guy pretty significantly.
I'm with you that it's close tonight, and you're right, we'll give our final predictions. But I also think, man, since 2020, I looked this up before the show, the Chiefs are 5.5-point favorites for those that are wondering. Since 2020, the Chiefs, when they're 3 or more point favorites, and tonight fits that, they only cover 37% of the time. Think about that. What I'm getting at is not trying to make a point about sports betting. What I'm trying to say is they win close games, and they still find a way to win.
What's their record in those games, I guess?
I could look that up. Yeah, straight up. So that's why people, for many years now, have been frustrated at times. They're like, well, they're not blowing anybody out. They're not covering the spread. I'm sorry if you bet on them and they didn't cover. That's your own fault at this point when you take a look at just the trends, and that have not been in their favor. But they can look bad in games. They can be in a barn burner with a minute to go. They find ways to win. It's why we led the show after the Week 2 win against Cincy and said, you know what? They're just inevitable. They just are. They find ways to win. Great teams do that, cliche or not. That's what they are. They're going for a three-peat. They got the best coach in football. The quarterback, he's the best one in football, even if right now his performance doesn't show that. He is. They have Steve Spagnuolo, who's the best defensive coordinator in football. They have a top 3 corner in Trent McDuffie. They have a top 5 pass rusher. All that, when the moment is its biggest, even if they're not playing well, they make the one play that is necessary to win the game, and they do it time in and time out over and over again.
Yeah, bad teams find ways to miss kicks, fumble balls, goof around at the end of the game, and then lose it, which is what we'll talk about with the rest of the AFC later. But tonight, obviously, is I'm sure we'll ask you in a little bit how the hell you're going to try to consume both of these sports to their fullest tonight when the Royals' first pitch is about an hour before the Royals kick off Monday Night Football against the Saints. Man, they need Cole Ragans to be Cole Ragans. And I know that sounds simple, but they need Cole Ragans to go full version, first playoff game in the wild card, full last 2 seasons when he has his best stuff. They need an ace tonight. The bullpen's been getting taxed, and we can talk about the decisions outside of that in a moment. The bullpen's been getting taxed. The starters haven't been going as long. But Cole Ragans, man, that's the guy. That's your ace on the mound. They had their ace on the mound against your number 3 starter. Now it's the inverse. It is your time to prove to them why you deserve a big fat paycheck a couple of years from now, or many other things. But also, the Royals pitching staff is what carried him to wins. Cole Ragans is the leader of that pitching staff. He was the best of that pitching staff. Lugo was also great, maybe co-number 1. But with you two going the next 2 nights, get Ragans tonight, and then you get to toss Lugo again at home on Wednesday. The whole mood is different. They just need Cole Ragans to be great. Not good, great tonight.
Absolutely. That's why earlier I said I don't know if anything is going well if you tell me somehow he's not pitching in the 6th, hell, maybe even the 7th inning, based off of the quick hook the last couple of games. I understand why they did it. But Cole Ragans, you just have to trust that he's getting through it. Even if it could be a 6th inning, he's pitched 5 1/3. There's 1 out in the 6th inning, and all of a sudden they've got a man on second, and Aaron Judge is coming up. I don't care. Cole Ragans should still be in that baseball game tonight. There could be 2nd and 3rd with 1 out in the 6th inning, unless Cole Ragans somehow is at 100 pitches. Even then, I don't know if I care.
I might let him face a couple more batters. Yeah.
And they're not going to do it. Unless you're telling me Lucas Erceg is coming in the 6th inning, which he shouldn't. But I still don't feel great about anybody else to where you don't let Cole Ragans just go out there and make it happen. I mentioned last time out against the Yankees, 6 innings, 7 strikeouts, 3 hits, 2 earned, 3 walks, gave up 1 home run. It was good for a quality start. That's the baseline almost.
That's the minimum I want out of Cole Ragans.
You can say, well, that's a lot to ask. Well, it's the playoffs. He's your best pitcher. It's the playoffs. This is why you had him as your game 1 starter in the Orioles series. This is why he's Cole Ragans, right? I mean, this is why we talk about him in this light. Moments like this, you should be able to trust him. I think it's a big problem if he's not out there in the 6th and maybe even the 7th inning tonight.
Like the guys who were the other guys who were in consideration for the American League Cy Young, including Tarek Skubal, who win it. He's been showing up in the postseason, man. When his number's called, Tarek Skubal's been pitching aces. So you're in that spot. You want to be in that company. This is the company you want to keep. We talk about how postseason storylines for players get created very quickly. You come up and you no-show in an ALDS game against the Yankees and give up 5, people are going to view you differently maybe for the rest of your career, or at the very least, for the rest of your postseason career here in Kansas City. And I'm not saying one now, if you go and shove 2 games in a row after that, maybe not. But they get made in single postseasons, 2 postseasons. But just more importantly, it's who they are. They need Cole Ragans to pitch like this because this is the biggest challenge he's going to face all year. The New York Yankees lineup is dangerous. Every single one of them is capable of taking you yard. They can. It's a small ballpark. In addition to that, They've got some of the better home run hitters. They've got power up and down their lineup, and the Royals need you in this moment to perform like this. But I also think it's because I don't want to rely on the bullpen to go 5.5 innings again. 6, you can't be doing that every day.
The Yankees against left-handed pitching this year, it's worth bringing up, though, that daunting lineup of what they've done against left-handed pitchers. 235 batting average. That's good for 24th in the league.
Yeah.
387 slug, 18th. If there's been any struggle for this lineup, it's been against a lefty, and this isn't just a random lefty. This is, as we just highlighted, this is
Ragans,
an all-star guy that could have started the all-star game, but he's an all-star. So you have that. This is why I think the Royals have the pitching edge, even if Carlos Rodon, who's also a lefty, here's what the Royals have done against lefties. 243, 17th in the league, slugging, though, 380. That's 23rd. Now, maybe this is where, after all the talk about the ballpark, Cody, tonight you might be happy that right field exists in Yankee Stadium, because the slug percentage for the Royals against lefties, I just told you, 23rd in baseball. Maybe this right field short porch might be a good thing to help the old slug percentage against a lefty this evening.
Sure. Take advantage of it where you can.
I think that could end up being something we end up laughing about later on tonight. I would hope that's the case.
I just think it's a dumb stadium. They can have whatever, I guess have whatever you want. Certainly on that end. Carlos Rodon's an interesting matchup because it's not that he hasn't been a good Major League starter. Obviously, Carlos Rodon's been a very good Major League starter. The Royals have gotten him a number of times. The last time out, they did not. But over the course of Rodon's history, Royals have gotten to him quite a bit. The only problem is that you take small sample size versus life sample size, and the Royals have seen Rodon a lot because he was in their division quite a bit. So they got a sense of exactly where he is in his career against Kansas City. But does that matter? Or does it matter against this year's lineup, which is dramatically different than last year's lineup against the Royals, or all those things in between? And so, while they've gotten to Rodon before, that's what it really comes down to. Cole Ragans has got to be better than Carlos Rodon. That's really my baseline. We just gave numbers to it. You want to know the simple thing? He's got to be better than that guy. He's got to be better than the guy on the opposite side of the mound. I went ahead and looked it up, by the way. Against the Kansas City Royals in his career, Carlos Rodon has an ERA, let's see, where's the stat line? North of 4.5. So it's not great.
Do you think
4.66 in 13 starts? He's given up 9 home runs in those 13 starts against the Royals and a 1.493 whip.
Do you think maybe you're going to answer and say, hey, it doesn't really matter, just got to be better than Rodon, and I'm with you. 6-5 was the score on Saturday, we know. 5 runs wasn't good enough. Do you think it's a similar type of game? Do you think
I think 5 runs is good enough tonight because I believe in Ragans.
I'm with yes, I'm kind of with you, especially with how I would like to think they're going to manage the bullpen in terms of letting Ragans, even if he's in a tough spot, 5th, 6th, or 6th, 7th inning, that they're going to let him stay in versus Waka versus maybe Seth Lugo from the last 2 outings. Knowing that you're in danger of going down 2-0 in a best-of-5 series, I would like to think that's the case. I think this could be a game where you win 3-1. 4-2. I don't think we're seeing a 6-5 or an 8-5 type of game. If it's that again, then boy oh boy, Bobby can't be going 0-for-5, and Vinny can't be going 0-for-5, and Salvi can't be going 1-for-4 or 1-for-5. That just can't happen. We mentioned the numbers for Salvi. If there was a pitcher to see to get him out of this funk, Rodon historically is not a bad guy to match up against. If you believe in historical, goes back 10 years essentially. It's not just in the last calendar year.
But that's the one thing I'll say though, is that from a scouting department, from JJ, from this organization knows him. They know him better than most teams know him because they faced his ass a lot. Now look, have all those guys? Have Salvi faced him a lot? Has Bobby? No, not as much for them. Salvi has, obviously, but the rest, Bobby and Vinny and those guys. But they've just been around. If we don't think that there's anybody in the organization who's been around the entire time Carlos Rodon has been facing the Royals, there is.
Yeah, Tommy Pham's another one.
Yeah, very few teams in Major League Baseball do what the Marlins just did, which is completely clean house after the end of the year. Usually some of those guys stick around. I know we're all tuned into playoff baseball. Typically, I'm tired of playoff baseball. I'll wait for a little bit, wait for the CSs or the World Series because I'm like, damn it, the Royals aren't in it. Way more locked in.
It's like the NCAA tournament. You care about the second weekend if your team is still in it. Otherwise, you might already be done.
Yeah, because you're like, ooh, what if they actually face one of these teams? I got to be honest. Even though screw Dodgers fans for acting lame as hell
surprised?
And throwing stuff on the field like little crybabies. Jurickson Profar did one of the single greatest troll jobs I've ever seen in a playoff game. That they won. When you win, you get a trash talk. If you missed it in the first inning, Jurickson Profar goes all the way to the fence. He jumps right near the fence, and you can't quite tell. Did he get Mookie Betts' home run? And he's standing there staring into the crowd, almost like the ball's in there. Mookie Betts is rounding the base.
Fireworks are going off, I think.
Fireworks are going off. Everyone's
the scoreboard
happy.
shows home run.
And then Profar's like, whoopsie daisy, has the ball. And everyone is hot. He trolled the fans. He trolled Mookie. He rubbed it in the whole stadium's face. God, I loved it.
It was awesome.
That was a great moment. That was a playoff moment. That was incredible.
That was awesome. Remember, too, by the way, this is what is also fun about playoff baseball. The night before, Shohei Ohtani didn't have a bat flip; he had a bat chuck.
Oh,
I mean, it was
force.
He flung it. And that was fun too. Like both these things are fun. I've never seen an MLB player do what Profar did, though. I'll tell you, and hold it and wait that long.
The whole fan base.
You catch the ball, you caught it, and you just stare down the Dodgers fan, which then ultimately caused some problems later on in the game. There's a lot of trash talk. Tatis was chirping with fans as well. They had to have, I don't know, what would you guys say, 8 to 10 security guards in left field because fans were throwing stuff on the field. Again, I'll just say, let's not be, I'm not saying that fans don't, there's always a select group in any fan base. Dodgers have a little bit of a history.
Yeah, they do. A really bad history.
Bad history. There was that incident many years ago with the Giants fan where, they
forced to pass away.
Yeah, I think the guy ended up passing away, in the parking lot. So
now that the Padres are good, that might be one of the best rivalries because the Padres have been the little brother forever to the Dodgers. So now that they're good, what are Dodgers fans, Cody?
Piss babies. Mm-hmm. Look, the fans handled it that way for sure. But that moment from Profar, that was, I feel like you see showmanship and showboating on somebody in other sports more. The only time you get it in baseball usually is the bat flip, right? That's the one moment when people get to be like, see, I got you, right? And I'm cool with bat flips. That's not me. I love them. But it's like you never see it on the defensive end where they like rub it in their face, and to do it on their MVP level player, Mookie Betts, just in his face. Did you see how close he is to the fans? How short that wall is in left field down there? He was as close as you and I are, Gold, and he's just staring there, and you could see some fans like looking around for the ball. Like, did it land near me? And it's in his damn glove.
That was awesome.
Oh, that moment was incredible.
We knew that would be a fun series, and that series is living up to hype. That's split right now, one game apiece, Dodgers and Padres, and looking like that one is heading to a potential Game 5 eventually, which would be back in LA, but now they go to San Diego. So, by the way, that also confirms the start time for a potential game for the game on Wednesday. Remember, if there was a chance that either team was sweeping, then the Royals game would have been an hour different time on Wednesday. Now it doesn't matter. Nothing is
6:08 on Wednesday.
Yep.
7:08 on Thursday if the Royals get there. When the Royals get there. Let's have some options.
I like it. All right, up next, though, let's get back to the Chiefs for a little bit. We know the injuries. We already talked about that. But who's actually option number 1 or 2? I think it might surprise you. That's next.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about my friends at Volkswagen Lee Summit, where I got my new ride earlier this year. You remember me on the show talking about how I wanted a new car. Mine was 10 years old. I've been driving my Jetta, another Volkswagen, for a decade, and it was time. I wanted a car I could take my family on vacation with. I could give my kids rides to dance, right? Those are things I can do now thanks to my new Tiguan. God, I love it. What a difference it's been. The heated seats, everything working Bluetooth. Man, I was connected with a cord before. All of those things have made a difference in my daily commute, taking my family places, just getting to enjoy a brand new car. And the service at Volkswagen Lee Summit is why I chose them. They made the buying process as easy as can be. And you can make the same decisions I can. You get to pick what promotion you might want the best. I chose 0% APR for up to 60 months, but you could pick no payment for 90 days on a new car, or at Volkswagen Lee Summit, they'll double your down payment worth $3,000 becomes $6,000. Make the decision for yourself. Look, I chose the 0 payments. The rest of 2024, maybe you want to go that, or the 0% APR. I told you that's the one I chose. It doesn't matter what it is. You get to choose. Volkswagen Lease Summit has a huge selection of cars. We're going for the R-Line Black. We went through like, hey, can you pull a few out? They pull up 3-4 cars, let you look at them, choose the one you want. Whatever the choice you want is, the selection is there for you. Whether it's the Atlas Crossport, or the Tiguan I chose. Tell them Cody sent you, or just go pick out your car, then your promotion at VWLeaseSummit.com.
Hey, Kansas sports fans, feel the rush of football action with BetMGM. We're giving you an odds boost for any pro football wager this season. Just log into your BetMGM account today to receive an odds boost token. Then wager on any pro football matchup and apply your token. Just make sure to bet up to the minimum stake, odds, and legs specified on the token. If your boosted wager hits, you'll score a bigger payout. No opt-in is required. Just log into your BetMGM sports account and you'll automatically receive your odds boost token. Get ready to run up the score on your next winning pro football wager. Draw up your play for bigger thrills with BetMGM. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards has unrestricted funds. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
It's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here now on 96.5 The Fan, telling you guys about my friends over at Window World. Window World is the official window of the Kansas City Chiefs. Pick up the phone right now and call Window World today at 816-799-0820 or check out the website, windowskansascity.com. And remember this, when you call Window World, be sure to mention that you heard this on The Drive with me, and you'll be entered into a drawing for 4 Chiefs tickets during the upcoming season. You know they got some big games, and you're going to want to be there. So call my friends over at Window World. They're offering right now 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. In over 20 years of business, Window World has improved the look and thermal efficiency of over 54,000 homes right here in the Kansas City metro. Check out the website, windowskansascity.com. Pick up the phone today at 816-799-0820 for a free home estimate. Call to be entered into a drawing for 4 Chiefs tickets. Remember, Window World, simply the best for less. And the official window of your Kansas City Chiefs.
Hey, Chiefs Kingdom, as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, it's not a kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why we've built the Crown Royal Rig, an absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? Well, Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has helped over 35,000 families out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares, and they may be able to help you too. If you were misled into signing a timeshare agreement that is a lifetime commitment, if you were told timeshare is a great investment or your maintenance fees will never go up, you need to get the facts about timeshare cancellation. For over 10 years, Wesley Financial Group has been dedicated to helping folks get out of a lifetime of debt by canceling their timeshares. So they created a timeshare exit information kit, which reveals how the timeshare industry works and what your options are for cancellation. Simply call Wesley right now and they will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free. See how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. Again, 800-761-0000.
You can listen to the play-by-play of the Chiefs and Saints game with Mitch, Danon, and Kling right here on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock hour, it's Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. A little bit later on today, 12:30, Josh Vernier, our Royals insider, going to join us as he gets you set for Game 2 of the ALDS. A reminder for those trying to figure out how everything's going to work tonight with the Monday Night Football and Royals doubleheader, everything going on. So the Royals game will be over on the Fan AM 610. That's where Vern's on Deck show. That's where the post-game show, everything the broadcast is going to be on. Tonight at 4 o'clock is when the Chiefs pregame show begins here on 96.5 The Fan FM. So just a heads up for those of you trying to navigate through what is an all-time night. I mean, I know we want the result to make it special, but just going in, it's an all-time night in Kansas City, and we're going to talk more about that in 25 minutes or so. You guys can always interact with us on the Jay Southland Toasters text line. It's also the call-in line as well, 913-586-7965. So we mentioned injuries, obviously, with this football team right now heading into tonight, and wide receiver room in particular. Have we just assumed that because last year Rashee Rice eventually became the one that Xavier Worthy is just going to do the same? Because
there's some of that for sure, I think, in the fan base.
Yeah, because I don't think we should assume that. I think
is this an old "you make an ass out of you and me" situation?
Yeah, I think there's
That's
a
chance. Classic teacher one.
I think there's a chance, but man, I'm not sure that he just suddenly becomes the number one or number two production guy in the offense. Number one production is probably Kelsey. Number two, are we sure that's Xavier Worthy? I know we want it to be because he's a rookie. He's fun. Why not? I think, at least for tonight, isn't there a decent chance that the number two guy in production is either Kareem Hunt or, yes, Justin Watson?
Okay, so that...
I'm sorry.
That is a horrible sentence you just
I don't
said.
think it is. If the team wins, it's not a horrible sentence.
Okay, that's
it's
fair.
horrible for your fantasy football team. I'm sorry
I don't
for those
care
of
about
you.
that. I didn't draft any
I know,
Chiefs this
not
time,
you,
thank God.
but whoever out there. I think there's a chance. It is still week 5, and let's be honest, Xavier Worthy's not the route runner that Rashee Rice was already in his career. I think Travis Kelce gets more of those routes tonight. I think we could be sitting here tomorrow saying, wow, number one in production was Travis Kelce, Kareem Hunt, and Justin Watson.
Okay, so if we're talking total yardage the rest of the season, Travis Kelce is number one with a bullet.
Yes.
I mean, I don't even think it's a close competition. He might win it by 500 yards. I don't know. Now, total yards is different, right? Because the running back position can obviously garner from both areas of the field, so maybe it's not that big of a blowout. But from the next closest wide receiver perspective, 1 and 2 are Kelce, and then, yes, the lead running back of this team, which is now apparently Kareem Hunt, even though he didn't do it. If you made me then guess who is the third most productive player on the team, I would still take Xavier Worthy. Now, I don't think it's a blowout, but the truth is, Sky Moore, Justin Watson, and some of these other, Jared Wiley, McCole Hardman, I've seen them in this offense when they are complementary pieces, and none of them ever surpass a 400-yard mark, 450-yard mark. McCall in the early days was doing like 600, but that was a long time ago. So, like, I just think that they've kind of proven their caps. If you made me guess a guy who took the third most total yardage away from Xavier Worthy, I would actually guess Juju Smith-Schuster. I have seen him be a near 1,000-yard receiver for this team in moments like that. While I think his knee, I don't think is exploding anymore, whatever Albert Breer's report when he was describing it that way. He has proven to me that at the peak level of his contribution in this offense has been better than the peak level of Justin Watson, Cole Hardman, Sky Moore, et cetera, et cetera. So if I think there's a guy who takes it away, I think after all this, it's Juju Smith-Schuster. If you told me the rest of the way Juju Smith-Schuster was the third most productive player from an all-yards perspective, all-purpose yards perspective, total yards, whatever, I would say it's him. But I'll actually take Xavier Worthy because I do think that the deep passing game coupled with Mahomes, they'll find a few. And when you find one for 60 every 4 games, Gold, that juices up your stats. But if you're saying a game-to-game thing, who they throw out the most, Juju. I think the receiver they throw the most targets to over the next 3 months is Juju Smith-Schuster. I was not planning on that at any point this year. When they signed him, I thought he was the 5th option. But I think he's now the new number 1 wide receiver.
I think there's a chance, fast forward a month from now, that Worthy, for example, is more of a factor. I'm just talking about tonight. Who do I think is more likely to have the production? I view Juju and Justin Watson in similar regard in terms of they both strike me as the guy that is a third down, it's a 3rd and 7. Travis Kelce is not an option. And who do I trust to right at the sticks, not give me a lot of yards after the catch,
but get where he's supposed to go.
The reason why I think Watson right now, I hear you on Juju. You're not wrong at all. A couple years ago, he almost had 1,000 yards. So we never saw that with Justin Watson. Totally true. What is interesting about Justin Watson, when you don't have Hollywood Brown, when you don't have Rashee Rice, somebody else other than Xavier Worthy has to stretch the field. And who is
Watson's been
who's most likely to do that? Someone might say McCall Hardman, but I agree with you. It's Justin Watson because we saw it. Last year, Justin Watson ended up with, I think it was 83 targets or something, 53 catches maybe for 500 or something yards, or 400 and something yards, I'm sorry.
Because they used him for a while while they were waiting for Rashee Rice to catch
I think that could be in play
460 yards on 27 catches last year.
On 53 targets. I had it reversed. Okay.
I was like, I don't think he had 80
53 targets, not 53 catches. Okay. So I could see for a week or two that's the plan, especially before the bye week. Then bye week, we'll see what Andy magically creates, and all of a sudden it works. But I would go Kelce, Hunt, and then Justin Watson as like who I think are the 3 biggest production guys this evening.
Are we sure that we shouldn't consider a tight end? Andy Reid tipped his hand. Jody Fortson is back on the active roster.
Okay.
No, look, hold on. I'm not trying to. I'm just saying.
Yes, he might have 2 catches and a touchdown. That's true. Is he having 6 catches for 80 yards? Hell no.
I didn't mean him. I just meant they've tipped their hand in the sense that I think they've made it clear they are planning on using some big personnel more than they were planning on using going into the season.
Are we back to 14 or what? 13?
I think it's actually more likely than it was 2 years ago. They had wide receivers then, Gold. They don't now. And so, you know me, I wasn't like all aboard the 13 personnel train at the time that it was being made a huge deal at training camp.
3 tight ends, 1 receiver. Let's go, baby.
I just think that they'll rotate their tight ends more than we had before, especially in the red zone. So, it could be that their plan is just to use the tight ends more. Yep. And maybe it's not, and I don't think it'll ever be, you don't either, that Xavier Worthy, I don't think the number 2 guy is going to win the job by a lot. Remember I just said Travis Kelce has it by a long shot? I don't think the second guy in receiving is, I think he's 150 ahead of the next guy? There's not going to be some large gap between 2 and 3, 3 and 4 at this point. They're just going to spread it around to those guys.
So while we're talking about the tight ends, and I agree, I think there's a chance we see more of them go with that 3 tight end set, especially in the red zone, whether it's to benefit in the run game or obviously have all of a sudden we get a nice mismatch with Jody Fortson or whether. I'm always cautious. I give you a hard time with this with rookies and like, hey, man, remember they're a rookie and it's only week 5. Are you surprised, though, that they went out and brought back Jody Fortson, who knows the offense, okay? Knows the offense. They obviously always like
Jody Fortson more.
And yet, they're basically, I don't want to say leapfrogging, but it kind of feels like that. Jared Wiley, I think it's Andy Reid. We just know in this offense how long it takes to earn the trust of the coaching staff. It takes a long time. And maybe Wiley's just not there yet, and that's why we're seeing.
Jared Wiley has 1 catch for 7 yards. I mean, we can joke about Jody Fort's production on the show if we want. It was better than one catch for 7 yards every time he was on the field. He was targeted more than that. Mahomes trusts him more than that. So, no, I'm not surprised.
What are the odds?
Fourth-round rookies a lot of times.
Look it up. Because Jody Fortson's not having 5 catches, but could he have 1 catch in the red zone for a 2-yard touchdown? I'm telling you.
It's never good enough. I'm probably only getting like 8-1 on it anytime.
Yeah, if it's 8-1, it's not worth it. Anytime touchdown.
I need like a 15-1.
Here we go.
12-1.
What's your guess? I'm pulling it up.
8-1. I'm guessing anytime touchdowns. They're never as
touchdown score. Show all over at FanDuel. I'm scrolling.
I was going to say, is he even on there?
Can you even get him?
He's not on here, guys. Jared Wiley is 23-1. Yeah, you can't. They don't even have him listed. Gonna have to wait. They're afraid. They're afraid to put it on the board, you know? They're afraid to put it on the board. They don't know what to do.
They're afraid we're all going to win money tonight.
Somebody named Bub Means has better. Who's Bub Means? Is that the backup for?
Damn it, you just guaranteed he scores a touchdown tonight somehow. Who the hell
Who is Bub Means? That's a real person? Bub
I don't know.
Means? I know Cedric Wilson Jr. only because he played at Boise State. But
Drew, this is
Bub
normally when you're like,
Means?
he played MAC football at
that's Banking.
whatever school.
Bub Means he played college football for Tennessee, Louisiana Tech, and Pittsburgh. He's 23. He's 6'1", and yes, Cody, he plays wide receiver. I just never heard of
I knew he was wide receiver. I didn't know
Bub
where he played at.
Memes. Okay.
I would have thought for sure that was a fullback's name.
If he gets the touchdown, tonight,
Bub.
Yeah, man, I'm going to it because I know you went to FanDuel. I was like, I'll go check another site just to see. I can't get him on the other 2 sites I just checked either.
You're not surprised to hear that. Kareem Hunt, Travis Kelce,
But I can get Bub
favorites.
Memes over there and Jared Wiley.
Yeah.
Or no touchdown score. Or someone named Adam Prentice.
That's a tight end.
You said no touchdown scorer?
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
Plus 9,000. Only 9-1. Rather bet on a Jared Wiley touchdown.
I'll be honest. You might if you're gonna bet Jared Wiley touchdown, you might as well throw some money on Harrison Butker kicking 8 field goals a game.
Any quarter to be scoreless tonight is plus 270.
Okay, so before the season started, or before the postseason started, for the Royals, you and I had a conversation because you had some friends and I had some friends, and everybody was like, hey, we all saw Kevin Cash pull his guy in the middle of a no-hitter. Is he going to go to the bullpen too soon? I'm a little worried about it. He has not had a long leash. I thought the leash was a little too short there on Walker. I actually was more forgiving of the one on Lugo because it just straight up didn't look like Lugo had it. Walker had settled in okay. The walks were still happening, but he had settled in okay. It seemed like he was getting some outs. He has got to let the last 2 outings, the bullpen calls are too risky because Zerpa's got to be good, then Schreiber, then, he's counting on like 8 of these guys. Like, look, have some confidence in the bullpen. Relax a little. Not that much confidence.
So I think the criticism is fair because the result didn't work. This is why I said you can't get too high or too low on how we view a managerial decision in the postseason. Because on Wednesday, he looked like a genius. Wow, you pulled Lugo a little earlier than people thought, and then Angel Zerpa was great, and then everybody else was lights out. The bullpen didn't give up a single run. It worked. Then fast forward to Saturday night.
Opposite of words.
He pulls out Walker early. My guess is because he didn't want him to go through a 3rd time against Aaron Judge.
I think it's because the leadoff walk and then
I get the logic
Soto again, who just hit a homer off him in the first inning.
And then everybody's critical of it because Zerpa couldn't throw a dang strike. And so both are fair criticism. I think, but that's what I'm saying is I don't think it was this horrendous decision. Just like it
not
worked,
horrendous, but
it worked 2 days
a pattern
before.
is starting to develop of
hear
getting starters out of the game very early.
All true. I'm just saying that, if you're going to be overly critical of it on Saturday, then acknowledge it. Not you, I'm just in general. Then also acknowledge that it worked because the players performed on Wednesday when he did virtually the same thing. Now, every game is different, every team, all of that should be accounted for. And I'm with you. I told you in the last segment. I think Cole Ragans, if he is not out there in the 6th, and I'll maybe now say the 7th, it is a problem. I don't care if it's the 6th inning and it 2 on with nobody out. There's nobody I'd rather be in there than Cole Ragans unless you're saying, it's time for Urseg that early in the game.
5 runs.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to have to be he just gets his ass kicked. And then we're having a different conversation, and they're going to the Daniel Lynch version or I guess at this point, maybe Brady Singer. We haven't seen him in leverage yet either. We saw Lorenzen in leverage, so maybe they've got some plans for Singer depending on the righty matchup or what might exist in there. It's just all I'm pointing out is overly concerned yet? No. Do I think he failed the bullpen decisions? No, but a pattern is developing. This is now 3 games they've now put in the postseason. And late in the season when they need some guys, they have gone shorter with the starting rotation than they ever were in the regular season. In game 121, if Michael Wacha is in that spot, and that game is a score that it is, Gold, it's 2-2, whatever, 3-2, it's in that spot, and Wacha's in there, and Soto's coming back up, Wacha pitches. Wacha pitches there, man.
I hear you.
That's what got him here. And I know that most of the time in the playoffs, you pull an out or two early. I thought we went into the postseason agreeing that with this rotation, based on how they've won, I don't think that needs to be the full story. I think there needs to be times when you let them go out there and get the job done. Ragans tonight's probably a good example.
No, I mean, something to keep an eye on. I'll just continue to say, like, ultimately, if Zerpa throws strikes and produces, we're not having this conversation. Now, maybe we acknowledge it, like, hey, it's interesting, but nobody's freaking out about it. Yeah. I'll point this out, though. A pattern, sure. 2 games in a row, I guess that's a pattern. That's fair. I don't think it's 3 because Ragans got pulled with 6 shutout innings because he had cramps. I don't think they would have pulled Cole Ragans, and that's why I actually am more confident that they're willing to let him go additional inning this evening because it's Cole Ragans. So the only reason why Ragans didn't go out for a 7th is because of the cramps. He would have been out there. He was cruising. He was at like 75 pitches or something like that.
Yeah, he was under 80.
He was great. I expect them to have a longer leash for Cole Ragans, and it makes sense. They should. I mean, he's earned it.
But Lugo's earned a long leash too, man. I mean, he led this team in innings pitched. He led the majors in innings pitched, I think, or led the American League in innings pitched.
Yeah.
Like, if there's a guy you're going to trust to go deep, typically it would be Lugo. But he didn't let Lugo work out of his own jam, and that time it did pay off because you're right. Zerpa struck out a guy with the bases loaded. And honestly, I don't think, like, this goes to the balance that you and I think that the best managers have. The best managers have a balance of what the numbers tell you is the right decision and what your gut tells you is the right decision. I had more confidence that Wacha could get himself out of a nobody out, runner on first, than the situation Lugo found himself in. That's why I felt better about that early call to the bullpen there. And the truth is, just like any other situation, is if Wacha's leash is so short that if he puts one runner on base, he's gone, I'd rather allow the reliever to start the inning clean. Now, that's a personal preference, right? Everybody manages the game a little bit different. But if you know the leash is as short as, if this man gets on base, he's never facing Soto, well, then just put Zerpa in with nobody on his own. And look, he didn't have it. He walked 1 million batters or whatever. But, let him start clean. Let him have his own situation versus he walks a guy to start it, and all of a sudden it's 2 on and nobody out, and it's like, uh-oh, and he's not even responsible for the other guy, but now he's in an even worse spot versus had he just went one, whatever.
913-586-7965. Someone said, surely Cole's getting an IV today. Can we get my man some liquid IV all day today? Can we make sure he's got plenty of the powder packets of the liquid IV? Maybe an actual IV. I don't know.
Pregame bananas.
You are too damn good as a pitcher to be leaving in the 6th or 7th tonight when you're dealing because you've got cramps. You're too good for that.
We need it.
Liquid IV it up. Or an actual IV before the game.
Pedialyte.
Something. Whatever you use. Hangover or you're just feeling dehydrated.
Usually those are related.
Just give me liquid IV all day if I'm Cole Ragans. That's what I want. A little lemon lime flavor. Maybe that's your flavor. I don't know which one you like.
You get the liquid IV sometimes?
Sometimes. Before I go to Vegas, I'll pack some with me because it's way cheaper than trying to buy that at the hotel. I'll tell you that. At the hotel, that stuff is like gold. They're trying to charge it $20 for a packet.
You spent like $37 on a tube of sunscreen.
You're welcome, by the way. We both needed it. We both needed it. You and I are both pale. We were frying. That sunscreen in the gift shop was $29.99. No, it was like $23, I think. But still.
It was the good stuff, though.
It was a good brand. It worked. I mean, I didn't come home burnt, did you?
No.
Okay, it worked.
No, can't complain. But this time I'm going to pack some.
I'm just saying, liquid IV, man. Cole Ragans, please. 2 outings in the last month where you've been dealing and you've been forced to leave to cramps.
Not tonight.
Can't happen. Can't happen in the Bronx. All right, let's get to the trash.
Trash of the day.
So we all look at our schedules and like, hey, the schedule, you're too busy to be able to do this. Maybe it's just being able to do errands. Maybe it's your dating life, right? We've talked about my dating life before on the show, and you guys give me a hard time about when.
You can't squeeze a date in tomorrow?
No dates
no
this
football
week.
Game
no
between
dates,
baseball games?
No dates this week. It's playoff baseball time.
You care,
So I bring this up because on a Reddit thread, there was a whole conversation about what jobs are most likely to ruin a relationship. See if you guys can text in what job do you think 913-586-7965 is most likely to ruin a relationship. It's not a random question of the day, but I want your feedback a little bit here.
Okay.
So here were the responses. Truck drivers was one that was very popular because you're
gone a lot,
you're gone a lot,
hours.
you're on the road. Someone said any 12-hour shift.
Okay, so no nurse, no factory worker, a lot of 12s
Yeah,
there.
you're working up
Amazon,
at Clay Como at the plant or whatever. That's a problem. Someone said bartending. Now, you used to bartend, so you tell me, is that a tricky one?
Nobody wants to date a bartender. They just want to, like, hang out with a bartender for a few hours after the shift. It's not like because it's a lot of late nights, and they always assume. I think a lot of people don't do that because they're worried. They're, like the jealous types don't want to date a bartender because they think they're like constantly flirting,
cheating,
whatever.
with
men or women, right? You're meeting a lot of people. They're always late nights. Servers always like drink a lot and hang out too late.
Someone on this one said surgeons. I listen to them complain about their wives and kids during surgery all the time. So someone else said friend of mine dated a chef. She now advises anyone who will listen to never date one. She says you never see them. A chef at a restaurant.
Long hours. So the same thing I said about bartenders equally applies to chefs. They don't get to flirt with people, but they like to drink and hang out late, and their hours are always nuts.
Someone said they're on the text line. They're a 38-year, been driving truck for 38 years, 100% legit. They've been an over-the-road trucker for 38 years. They agree. Someone else is undercover cop or DEA. I told you. I mean, we auctioned off the date with me a couple years ago.
Yeah, we did. We should do it again.
We couldn't find any social media presence, and it spooked me. Turns out she was an FBI agent. Very nice. She was very nice one day, but she was very nice. But she was an FBI agent.
Where do you think radio host ranks amongst these? You don't work 12-hour shifts. Great hours. You got great hours overall.
Yes.
Look, tonight you got to work later than normal. But if she's a sports fan, it's not that she can't be with you in the same. It's not like I won't see my wife.
You got to have a boundary though,
while
because
I'm watching both of those.
You got to have a boundary because typically in radio, your personal life is out there on the show too.
You got to set boundaries early.
Yeah, you got to set the boundary because some people are way more of an open book.
They want to
than
know
others.
when you got your wife for Mother's Day.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Like others, like, hey, this is something you can't. Like, your partner might be willing to let you joke about something that happened. Some other partner may not.
Yeah, you do have to set a line. I'd say you just got to decide which things are. Like, if you don't say we shouldn't talk about this on the air, sometimes I do not use my best judgment. I'm not going to pretend like I don't. So maybe that's an issue. But your hours are fine. You're not paid like a doctor or anything. That probably not.
Someone says perhaps don't date a stripper. I would agree. That's probably a tough one.
It's a little too obvious.
They probably don't. They don't know that they are doing that on the side. That might be a thing that's not. They're not aware of that activity on the side.
How do you feel about MLM? Would you date somebody who was big into the multi-level marketing stuff?
No,
would you date someone who was really, really into it? Like that was their main source of income?
I mean, probably not, but I don't know why. What, do you just fear that they're shady or what?
I mean, it is a pyramid scheme.
No, that's what I'm saying. You just think they're a shady, dishonest person. Is that what you're getting at, or what?
Someone said who you should date is a pharmaceutical rep. Always travel and write off everything. That's not what our former producer's wife did, but it was somewhat similar to that.
They make good money.
She worked in the pharmaceutical industry.
Really
she got to travel.
That is a good industry.
He got to go to Germany. I got to go places because of her travel. That's actually, but they're gone a lot. If you're going to date a pharmaceutical rep, you have to enjoy, the people who travel a lot, you got to enjoy, you got to both enjoy alone time a lot. For that balance to work.
Someone said, what's the trash of the day? Oh, it was a survey that was out there of dating turnoffs, worst jobs to be in a relationship with. Also on the list, OnlyFans, someone that does OnlyFans, someone as a stand-up comedian was another one.
OnlyFans off the table for you?
I'd be like, what are we doing here?
Making $250,000 a year? That's what they're doing.
Yeah, but if you were dating someone, then you knew on the side they also were putting out videos of them maybe in a sexual manner.
I mean, it's definitely in a sexual manner. What they were describing, but
probably a problem. Probably a problem. Because then they might ask you to be part of it.
I don't
Can't
think
be doing that.
Just as long as you're like, hey, look, this is off the table for me.
We've had the stories of the teacher that got fired because she had OnlyFans. Do you think a radio host, knowing our contracts that we signed, do you think if any radio host
get fired
had an OnlyFans and there were sexual content?
No, they wouldn't get fired.
Oh, I don't know, man.
I think they will.
I think you might get fired. Yes.
We can ask Spec in the break.
Now, there's an argument to be made that the story would get your show more attention, but I also think the company wouldn't want you representing them if you were out there putting out sex videos on your OnlyFans.
Yeah, I think that's a no.
Now, if you did it as a joke and a show prank and it was just like your feet, no, you're not going to get fired. But if it was a video of you nude and you're doing certain activities, I think you would be fired. Yes.
I don't think so. I'll have to ask, but I think they'd let you keep your job.
You're going to ask? Go ask the big boss. Hey, just out of curiosity, before my next contract negotiation, can I get it written in there that I can do my OnlyFans stuff?
That's not cause. I don't want that to be the cause for why.
I need a stipulation. I'm allowed to profit off of my body on OnlyFans.
Contract's coming up again,
Yeah.
Always time to renegotiate. Always
Make that your priority.
Always time to work in some clauses and whatnot.
Shannon Sharp's deal was potentially a fireable offense, and there was.
Let's be real. He's in a different spot than any of us here. He's got a little more leverage. He also could get fired and find another job doing. Financially, he doesn't have the consequences that any of us have if we lose our job. He would be just fine.
I understand, but you didn't see anything. There was nothing to be seen.
No,
so
but there was audio. There was audio of.
There was. There was.
Anyway,
pretty honest what was happening.
That's the trash of the day. Up next, Chiefs Red Half Hour. How are you handling tonight? It's not just the Chiefs, it's the Royals virtually at the same time. We'll talk about that. We'll take your calls on how you're planning the evening next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
Hey, Kansas sports fans, feel the rush of football action with BetMGM. We're giving you an odds boost for any pro football wager this season. Just log into your BetMGM account today to receive an odds boost token. Then wager on any pro football matchup and apply your token. Just make sure to bet up to the minimum stake, odds, and legs specified on the token. If your boosted wager hits, you'll score a bigger payout. No opt-in is required. Just log into your BetMGM sports account and you'll automatically receive your odds boost token. Get ready to run up the score on your next winning pro football wager. Draw up your play for bigger thrills with BetMGM. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards has unrestricted funds. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
The Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and our two soccer teams, the Current and St. Louis City SC, are all endorsing Amendment 2. Here's why you should support it too. Right now, Missouri sports fans are taking their money and placing their bets in Kansas and Illinois. We're losing our money to other states, money that could be invested in our schools. Amendment 2 fixes that. By legalizing sports betting, Amendment 2 will generate over $100 million for Missouri schools over the next 5 years. And there's a strong constitutional guarantee ensuring the revenue from sports betting will go to education. Kansas and Illinois know sports betting is a winner for their fans and taxpayers. It's time for Missouri to get into the game. Amendment 2 means over $100 million for Missouri schools. Join the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, Current, and St. Louis City SC in supporting Amendment 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
It's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here now on 96.5 The Fan, telling you guys about my friends over at Window World. Window World is the official window of the Kansas City Chiefs. Pick up the phone right now and call Window World today at 816-799-0820 or check out the website, windowskansascity.com. And remember this, when you call Window World, be sure to mention that you heard this on The Drive with me, and you'll be entered into a drawing for 4 Chiefs tickets during the upcoming season. You know they got some big games, and you're going to want to be there. So call my friends over at Window World. They're offering right now 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. In over 20 years of business, Window World has improved the look and thermal efficiency of over 54,000 homes right here in the Kansas City metro. Check out the website, windowskansascity.com. Pick up the phone today at 816-799-0820 for a free home estimate. Call to be entered into a drawing for 4 Chiefs tickets. Remember, Window World, simply the best for less. and the official window of your Kansas City Chiefs.
Fall's coming. You have a lot to prepare for. Back to school, family gatherings, and staying on top of your health. The virus that causes COVID-19 continues to evolve, so this fall make a plan for COVID-19 vaccination. Ask your doctor to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Our Labor Day savings start now at Lowe's. Right now, buy one, get one free on Valspar Reserve or HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Infinity or Showcase Interior Paint via Lowe's gift card rebate. Whether you're painting one accent wall or want to freshen up a whole room, we've got you covered. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details. Valid through 9/4.
Is your vehicle stopping like it should? Does it squeal or grind when you brake? Don't miss out on summer brake deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. The first ever Milo's Rewards Week is coming, and it's kind of a big deal. Members, get ready for 7 days of up to 40% off store-wide on hundreds of items. Save on the top brands in home decor, holiday, tools, and more. Our biggest member deals start October 10th, so if you're not a loyalty member, now's the time to join for free. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offer valid 10/10 through 10/16. Program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details. Subject to change.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles.
Highly logical.
Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Visit eatandys.com to find the location nearest you. Top your day with a smile.
Let me tell you about my good friend Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from Kansas City, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Tailgate with a pick six, or grab a freshly made custom treat before or after a game. And tell him Mitch and Andy sent you.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
It is the Chiefs Red Half Hour, but it's fitting today when we have such a great sports day in Kansas City that we mix in the Royals with the Chiefs here, even during the Chiefs Red Half Hour.
Bobby Witt Jr., half Patrick Mahomes jersey.
I know, we joked about
like
that.
Like a parent, that's what you need.
I decided to go throwback, a shirt that barely fits me. It's getting a little too small. It's a long sleeve. Otherwise, it's in decent shape. This is the AL.
Future Couldn't Go garage sale shirt.
It could be. It's the AL champion from 2014 long sleeve shirt. I have not bought gear yet from this run. We'll see. The further they go, the more likely it is that I'm going to buy more and more gear. You guys can watch the stream. You already would have known that Cody's dressed up like Professor Tapp today.
Kept class intact tonight.
If you're watching on the video stream, YouTube, Twitch,
I
Facebook.
told them we wouldn't go the full length of the
Yeah, did you decide ultimately real quick? 5:30 or 6?
I think 5:30. Okay. I think normally we take a break as a class a little after 5, kind of like halfway through, right? So, because it's a long class, we usually take like a 10, 15-minute break.
Yeah.
So I'll just go a little bit longer than the normal break time, and then we'll call it a day.
I do want to open up the phone line. One, I want to just, how are you guys feeling for both teams tonight? But also, how are you navigating this with both games going on at the same time after the Royals start? Then ultimately, we know 45 minutes later, the Chiefs game starts. 913-586-7965. Tell me how you're doing this. Are you tailgating at Arrowhead and you're just going to have a massive screen set up for the Royals as well? You going to the game? You going to a bar? What's the TV setup? I'm just curious how Kansas City sports fans are handling what is one of the biggest nights, if not the biggest night we've had for both teams in the city's history. We've had Super Bowls and all that, sure. But both teams one in a playoff, one in a massive Monday night stage, playing at the same time. The only thing that would make this crazier is if they were both in Kansas City. Otherwise, this is as big as it gets.
In which case, they wouldn't have been at the same time.
They would have had to move the Royals game earlier.
Yes.
They just would have had
just
to
based on scheduling conflicts alone.
The parking lot could, I mean, we already know it's a disaster
can't get in
for
the
a
parking
Chiefs
lot
game.
anyway. Are you kidding me?
You couldn't do it. You just couldn't do it.
Anyone try to go down I-70 on a Monday night football game? It's already a disaster.
It's already going to be bad
Regular
tonight,
traffic cap? No. 0% chance. They couldn't have scheduled them at the same time. This is, I imagine, the single biggest sporting day in this city for a simultaneous.
Yes.
Remember, we did this in 14. The wild card game and the Monday night football game, they beat the defending Super Bowl champs by 40. Wild card game, that felt like that. Those weren't two separate nights.
Those were not
As
at
a
the same
reminder,
time.
those were not at the same time. One person saying YouTube, TV, multiview. I have a hard time because the only problem I have with the multiview, and I do like that it exists, is that it's cutting off part of my screen. I'm not getting the full
You need a bigger
effect.
TV. Sounds like you
It's
need
a pretty good size
sounds
TV,
like you
dude.
need a bigger TV because if you're on a smaller screen,
How big of a TV do I need? This one's like 65 or 70 inches. I don't know. It's not a small TV.
I think if you're going to do the YouTube multi-view, you definitely need a bigger TV. You can't be rocking just a 50-inch TV for the multi-view tonight. I don't know if that's suitable. I think you need multiple TVs. I'll tell you, I'm planning on going to a sports bar tonight to watch
So
with
you're
some
just
other
gonna go to a
people.
bar where the screens are already onto.
That's right. And now the audio choice, I don't know how they're deciding that. If it's Royals get priority, I would argue, but who knows? Let's go out to the phones, 913-586-7965. How are you handling the games tonight? Heck, if you're a bar owner, I would love to hear how you're handling it at your bar as well. Gage in downtown, you're on with Cody and Gold.
Hey, guys. Longtime fan. Thanks for the call. So,
Thanks, man.
So I just moved downtown, and thankfully we got like a theater room with multiple TVs and multiple sofas in it. So we'll just put one on each, and I'm sure someone will bring some potluck food, and we're all just going to enjoy the Royals and the Chiefs winning tonight, baby.
There you go. I love it. Gage in downtown talking about how he's planning for tonight. A lot of people on the text line saying, someone said, I feel like I'm in the minority here. Royals game trumps the Chiefs regular season week 5 game. I'm fully invested in the Royals. That'll be the only Royals game. It sounds like that's the only game that they're going to have on.
So I'll be honest, I don't think I'm going to drag a second TV out of a different room to set them up in the same room, like on the fireplace or the floor.
I'm surprised.
My guess is that I'll be Royals on the big TV until the game is over, and the Chiefs are going to have to be on the iPad. Like, I think it's just going to have to be a Chiefs on the... I think they've been downgraded to iPad status for the first... I mean, again, the crossover might be an hour and a half, so I'll miss...
Just put the Chiefs game on the radio then. How about that?
Oh, and just watch the Royals with no sound?
Reminder, the Chiefs will be...
I did not love the TV call the other day, so that doesn't exactly bother me.
The Chiefs will be on 96.5 The Fan. Pre-game coverage starts at 4. Of course, Mitch, Danon, Kling, Dan Israel. And then the Royals will be over on The Fan AM, 610. Vern's on deck show at, what would that be, 5:30? All right, 5 o'clock? Sorry, 5 o'clock.
How about this person? They say, unfortunately, I have Music Man rehearsal from 6:30 to 10. I'll be sneaking my phone in my script.
Dang. I don't know, man. Like, how do, like, in this city, just, I mean, like, if my kid had, I don't know, I think he has soccer practice tonight. Hey, I just cancel it. Are you kidding me?
I think they should.
Just cancel
I think they should as
Who
well.
the hell's going to come? There's going to be one kid.
What time is the practice supposed to be?
I don't know, like 6:15 to 7:15.
Yeah, that's right. At least be
pitch.
at least you
Are
can
you
be
kidding
done.
me?
At least with that though, you're done before the Chiefs game starts, and
But you
you're
missed
only
the first
you're
third
missing
of the game.
You're missing 3 innings.
I mean, playoff baseball's a little slower than the regular season. This a regular season, you'd be missing a lot.
So,
I mean,
you
who's
think
even gonna show
Mahomes will
up?
have a Royals update guy on the sideline? No, I do not.
I don't,
believe.
but I do still think, and I still think that they'll play like if Vinny Pasquantino hits a 3-run home run in the second inning,
stadium.
I think they'll play the highlight in stadium.
They should.
So I think they'll give everyone the chance to react in stadium to those big moments for the Royals.
That'd be smart. I mean, you want to talk about bringing more energy to Arrowhead. If it's a big time hit in the second inning, right when the Chiefs game is about to start or whatever, you want to just talk about amping up the crowd more?
Somebody said, I sold my tickets to tonight's game in order to buy tickets for Wednesday's game for the Royals.
Nice. Wonder how
said
many
it's
people
just
did
going to be
that.
a double screened up tonight. You know, I could, is it dark enough earlier? Because I could put one on the projector and one on the TV outside. Out on my screen porch, the projector screen's out there, but there's a TV out there too because you can't see it if it's like daytime. If I get enough evening time, I could technically double screen and not have to move anything.
That's not
So maybe
that's not a
that's
bad
the
move. I'll tell you this: if I owned a bar in this city, I think if you have a choice, you're putting audio on for the game. I think Royals game gets audio priority tonight. I think
it should. It's a playoff game.
Unless somehow
it's a Monday Night Football game against the Saints.
Yeah, unless somehow this game is 7-0 and the Royals are getting killed or something, then okay, then you switch to the Chiefs and do the audio. But if it's a close game, Royals to me at your bar gets priority all night.
The crazy thing is like it's not just that they're playing at the same time. It's that the Chiefs are in the postseason or the Royals are in the postseason for the first time in 9 years. Last time in the postseason, they won the World Series. And the Chiefs are not just playing on Monday Night Football. They're the 2-time defending Super Bowl undefeated champions, right? They're 4-0. They're undefeated, and they are the back-to-back Super Bowl champions. And so they're both so good at the same time. And I get it. The Royals still might not go on to win the World Series. We don't know yet. Versus, like, in that year, the Royals did go on to win the World Series, and the Chiefs were just a mid-level, lose in the second-round playoff team, right? They weren't anything outstanding. They were a playoff team, but they weren't like out of this world or anything else. The same Patriots team later on. This feels like maybe the roles were reversed, except for one of them is 2-time defending Super Bowl champion.
Someone, 913-586-7965, someone said they're a high school band director in Olathe. They have their district marching band exhibition tonight, 7 p.m. to 8:30. Said their devices connect to the Wi-Fi at the stadium, and when their group is not performing, they may slip into the press box. They're going to announce updates for both games between groups.
You just got to cancel everything in the city.
Be
Nothing else in the city tonight but the two sports things.
Hold on, Cody, I have a question based on this other person's text. They said they've canceled their daughter's dance lesson and swim lessons on Wednesday. Go Chiefs, girls. Would you cancel your kids' activities so you could watch the games?
So they have activities tonight. My daughter has dance. My son has soccer. They both end in enough time that they would be able to catch some of it. And because my wife has already agreed to take them, I won't. Because, they should know the responsibility of going. But if it were just left to me to get them to those events tonight, they're not going. They're not going to soccer practice, and they're not going to dance. Those are canceled. Yes, I'm in agreement there. Because somebody else can take them, and they're not like massive, huge sports fans yet. They're starting to get into it more. But because, they can come back and watch the latter half of both of those games.
We're talking about the dilemma that is tonight, having the Royals, of course, at a postseason game at the same time as the Chiefs are playing a Monday Night Football game. How are you handling it? 913-586-7965, the text line. It's also the phone line as well. Listen to this one. Somebody on the text line says, they tried to talk their 11-year-old into skipping soccer practice tonight, but she's so by the book, she guilted me into having to go. I'm halfway proud of her and half pissed. What do you do?
I mean, you got her. You taught her to keep her commitments. She's got to keep her commitments. I mean, it stinks, but I'll just in the reality, right, of this, Gold. If we do this show for another 10 years, there will be a time when a major sporting event directly conflicts with a major child, my kid's school play or whatever. And in that case, I'm always going to choose my kid. Hell, we had 2 watch parties at Jefferson's in Lenexa last week. And one of those days, I had my kids' parent-teacher conferences. I was watching part of that Royals game for, I think it was like an inning and a half from the parent-teacher conference, right? So, out of reality, I chose the kids thing over the sports thing, and I always will probably. But yeah, there's when it's practice, I turn into AI real quick. I'm Allen Iverson the second we're like, this is practice we're talking about? Not a game. Practice? Then I don't feel like you got to go tonight.
From the 785, someone says, hopefully it's the right text. I'm a bar manager in Lawrence, planning to keep sound on the Royals until it's no longer a game or we win postseason over regular season. I really think that is, if you own a bar, I think that's what you have to do. I'll just say, if I walk into a bar tonight, I expect the Royals game to have the audio. I just do.
Someone from the 913 said, I'm a 17U baseball coach for guys hunting scholarships. I told the boys we're moving practice to the other place in Olathe for film study.
There you go.
Film study.
There you go. That's smart.
You're going to learn something from this Royals game today.
Someone says, lucky me, I'm a Bengals fan, so just the Royals game. Drew, you're texting. You can just say that. You don't have to text that in, man.
That wasn't from me,
you
man.
can just tell us. You don't have to text in. You can just, you have a microphone.
Shout out to you. But look, I'm going to be watching the Chiefs game as well, so... And I'm a Bengals fan.
You want to watch a team that can win. I get it.
I'm actually surprised they haven't just canceled soccer practice. There's only 6 kids on the team.
What's that?
I said, I'm surprised they haven't canceled my kids' soccer practice. There's only 6 kids on the team. Easy enough to just be like,
One practice, you never stacking practices, Cody. The road to be to be an academy AC current player or a sporting AC player.
Less than 1% of all society has a chance to do that. Mitch Kelly over at Kelly's, you know what he said they're doing? He said audio for the Chiefs game on one half of the bar, audio for the Royals game on the other.
Nah, you got a big enough bar, you can do that.
So you spread like if you only want to listen to the Chiefs one half.
I like that.
You only want to listen to the Royals.
Not every
the other
bar
half.
can do that though. It depends on
TV's on both.
How big the bar is.
Makes sense.
But that's a smart way to do it. If you have a big enough spot to separate it a little bit, you can. Hey, you want to you can walk over the other area of the bar if you're trying to keep an eye on that. I like that.
All right, we figured it out. So you're going to a bar. You've just decided they'll supply you the multiple TVs.
I watched a game at a bar on Saturday night as well. We had a good time, and even though the Royals didn't win, so some people were wondering if you got to go back to the same spot. Now that they've lost a game in the postseason, everything resets. You do whatever you need to do. Yeah. Everything resets. Yeah, everything resets. You can go wherever you need to go.
You can drink a different drink in the sixth inning, whatever it takes kind of to get there.
Last call we'll take on this, so we'll get back to this, I'm sure, in the 1 o'clock hour today. 913-586-7965. Royals, Chiefs, both going on tonight. How are you handling that? We go to Josh. He's on Cody and Gold. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, being in Iowa, I don't get the feel of the city, but it'll definitely be a 2 TV night. I'll do the Royals with the sound, and then once it's over, I'm a big Eli and Peyton guy, so I'll switch that to the sound once the Royals is over.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and also, hey Drew, are you doing all right today, or?
Damn, it just unnecessary shot.
Did you hang up or did he hang up?
No.
Did you hang up on him?
No, Josh hung up. First and foremost, shout out to Josh because this is the guy that did golf with the producers.
Cody and I, we got bigger things to worry about in this town than a 1-4 football team in Cincinnati. So we've taken it easy on you today. You're not wearing a bright orange hoodie, smart move, and all that. We've tried to take it easy. So that's on the call. But since it's been brought up for a second, sure. How are you feeling?
I feel okay. Obviously, me personally, I'm great.
About the team. How do you feel about the team?
I slept great last night.
I did not sleep great last night.
Zach Taylor found a way to make the conversation about him more than Lou Anarumo, and it was the whole conversation was the defense is so bad. Lou Anarumo stinks. He should be fired too. How do you get conservative and try to kick the field goal? Of course, something went wrong in that situation.
Happens to bad teams.
The Bengals lost. They just can't make enough plays late, and it's the defense's fault.
Will the Bengals win 10 games this year, Drew?
10? I'm not willing to say no yet.
Wow, I thought you.
But I'm not. I'm not going to say yes either. I'm not counting him out.
Okay, we're going to talk more about those games in just a little bit.
We will.
Because the AFC had an interesting peek behind the curtain yesterday. Chiefs have a chance to tie the Vikings for the only two teams to start 5-0 this season.
Right.
After they had kind of a dicey one there at the end in London.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. The other part about tonight's game too is Tyronn Mathieu returning to Kansas City, and I don't know. I mean, honestly, do you guys care? 913-586-7965. He to me is still the second best free agent signing in this franchise's history. There's an argument for first. I will still say Mitchell Schwartz is the best free agent sign. I know it's not as viewed as, because he played offensive lineman versus safety.
And there's a couple of others during some 90s runs that were really good, but, they didn't win a Super Bowl inevitably.
People mention Montana and things. I'm talking about, let's call it the last 20 years, please. I still think there's a case, honestly, though. Mitchell Schwartz and Tyronn Mathieu are right there in the franchise's history. But, yes, if you want to bring up somebody from 1983, go right ahead. That is fine. That is before my time, and you can make that case. But Tyronn Mathieu, I still think when he was cut and not brought back, everybody thought he was done. That was the conversation. He's not the same player. And to his credit, he's playing at a really high level. Have you guys been keeping an eye on how he's playing? He has, I think, multiple picks on the season. He has not fallen off a cliff the way it appeared. Maybe he was.
This show defended him way more than others.
I've told you and I have gone back and forth.
Juice.
You and I have gone back and forth. I don't want to bring up the Hall of Fame conversation. I still think there's a chance he ends up in the Chiefs Hall of Fame one day. But
separate conversation.
He changed the entire defensive mindset. He came in with Spags at the same time, shifted the entire culture. There was a great article, a column from Sam McDowell in the Star. I don't know if you caught that over the weekend, talking to other Chiefs players from this current team, how there's a lot of things they still do because of what he did. And I'm not just talking about how they play. I'm talking about going on the field early and being the first ones out there kind of thing in the quarterback room and safety room.
that stuff like that he has left with this entire group. Spags is still showing film from Tyronn Mathieu. So he's still a factor. I think it's pretty cool. He was one of my favorite players, frankly, over the last 15 years on the team anyway. I know he's very emotional, and at times it got him into trouble on Twitter and things like that.
So what?
But I think that's what made him a great player. So props to, I hope he obviously loses tonight, but props to Tyronn. I know his family, I think, still lives here. His kid, I think, still plays football around the area or whatever. So I think it's cool to have him back. He's someone that was so vital for this turnaround.
For one game, I hope he stinks. But for the rest of his career, obviously, I don't root that for Tyronn Mathieu. If you go back, and we asked this question at the time because Justin Reed and Tyronn Mathieu signed for nearly identical contracts at the time they brought in Justin Reed. We all understood what they did. They thought, aging player, usually you go younger at the position. He didn't have a really good second half of the season, his final year in Kansas City, so people were like, maybe the end is near. If you go back and look at that, they should have just given Tyronn Mathieu the contract. He could have been an all-time Chiefs great, and he has played as well as Justin Reed the entire time those two guys have been in the league. But you can't also tell me they made the wrong choice. They're back-to-back Super Bowl champions, right? I mean, it's not like the safety position has cost them important games. It's been the opposite of that. They have had really good play out of Justin Reed on their way to back-to-back championships. So losing Tyronn Mathieu didn't cost me anything. That's why I can, years later be like, you know what? It kind of stinks that they moved on from him because I think they would have gotten similar play. I think they still win the back-to-back champ. All those things probably still happen with Tyronn Mathieu here. But I got no ill will to him because he did help. He's a little bit of the James Shields of that era.
Absolutely.
Where defensively, he taught them how to win a little bit. And I didn't feel like they had any kind of swagger or energy or bite to that defense before
the whole attitude
Tyronn
shifted.
Mathieu got here. And I think when he was here, the defense felt like it had that for a little bit. And I don't want to lose sight of that either just because it was kind of a short tenure here in Kansas City.
I think he set the tone for this entire era of football that we're in, and so he deserves props for that. He's obviously back in Kansas City. Someone pointed out, too, if you look at the most recent tweet from Tyronn Mathieu, is him having, I don't know, dinner or something with his kids, and his kid is wearing a Royals hat. So he's still involved in the
And he made it sound like
community.
he still lives in the area or has a house in the area.
I think, again, I want to say his kid maybe still goes to school here, or at least,
So they liked Kansas City.
or at least has some ties still to the area. So I think he enjoyed his time. Going back to the initial question, though, of just franchise history, free agent signings, someone said, hey, have you forgot about Priest Holmes? No, I think he's on the list as well. I'm just saying I put, because of the significance to helping win a Super Bowl, I weigh that in more favor for Mitchell Schwartz and Tyronn Mathieu. But, of course, Priest Holmes, he's in the conversation. If we're doing our top five, Priest Holmes is absolutely a top five free agent signing in franchise history. No doubt about it.
Of course.
So I didn't forget about him. I would say I just put the Super Bowl weighs very heavily in this conversation, and Tyronn Mathieu directly led to that, and Mitchell Schwartz was part of that as well. He's an offensive lineman, so people probably just are never going to react the same way as a running back or a safety or a wide receiver signing. Not that they've really had a free agent wide receiver signing that's anywhere in this conversation.
You think he'll get a pretty warm greeting?
He should. I hope so.
I think he will, too.
Yeah.
Look, he might be a Pro Football Hall of Famer. We can talk about the Chiefs Hall of Fame. He is on an all-decade team. He's on an all-decade team. He is still playing at a high level for decent NFL teams. He's still getting interceptions. When Tyronn Mathieu's entire career shakes out, he'll be a serious contender for the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Not forget the Chiefs one for a minute. He'll be a serious contender for the Pro Football Hall of Fame after an excellent career. I look back at his years fondly. Yeah, at the end, I felt like people. I will say, you and I did not understand when people were trying to run him out of town. That never made any sense to me. It felt like at least somewhat publicly, the sentiment had shifted on him because he was talking on social media still, and the play wasn't matching the talk at that time, and so people kind of soured on it. But now looking back on it, you're like, no, he just wasn't play. He was frustrated by his play. He is a vocal player. As a result of that, you heard from him more.
Yeah.
I thought he was a great player when he was here. I think he's still clearly a very good player, maybe a great player. And I hope he enjoys his return to Kansas City up until the kickoff.
Yeah, a unique personality too. I mean, just not a lot of players where the emotion is rawly as he does, right? And I think that also helped him play. A lot of people in the text line said, hey, what about Frank Clark? If we're being technical, that was a trade, not a free agent signing, so that would be why. But obviously, in terms of overall
trades in franchise
acquisition, he's up there. But that was a free agent signing, not a trade. But yes, no question. Both, all these names all factored into the conversation, that is for sure. All right, up next, let's get to what's trending, and then we will get right back into the Royals. One thing that everybody was still talking about throughout the weekend, but there were other issues besides a blown call by MLB Replay's office.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Let's be honest, winter weather is looming. I lived in an old house. I had my roof replaced in my old house right before I moved because, you start hearing that drip. You're like, what the hell's that? Well, that can't be good. Don't ignore it. Call Century Roofing. They'll take care of those needs, whether it's a full roof replacement or just those repairs like I'm having done by Century Roofing, because I want to make sure I'm okay for winter. If you want to know the truth, I want to make sure my house is safe. When we bought our house, it was our forever home. When I need the full roof replacement, I know Century Roof will be there to take care of that need for me too. You know why? Because they've been in Kansas City for 34 years. They come with a warranty they will stand behind and be around to honor for years and years and years. You don't want someone just knocking on your door and be like, sure, I'll take care of it. Want someone in Kansas City who you know will be around and you can trust. They've been voted the best roofing company in Johnson County for 3 consecutive years for a reason. You got to make sure that they take care of those things as well. Don't sign contracts with those hail chasers over the summer or the winter weather guys that come across there. Make sure you're taken care of by the best roofing company in Johnson County. You can get a free material upgrade right now with a Class 3 or 4 impact-resistant shingle from Tamco for the price of a 30-year or 50-year shingle. So schedule your estimate today from KC-based and female-owned Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength. Go to centuryroofingkc.com.
When it comes to car buying, you deserve options. So at Volkswagen Lease Summit, we have 3 incredible promotions to pick from. Choose no payments for 90 days, 0% APR for up to 60 months, or we'll double your down up to $3,000. Pick out your car, then pick your promo at VWLeaseSummit.com.
Cap off the NFL Week 5 slate with a chance for a big win on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win a bet on tonight's game. Building out that same-game parlay for the Chiefs and Saints, like Alvin Kamara to go over his rushing yards, Travis Kelce to get an anytime touchdown, and Justin Watson over his receiving total. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to make every moment more this season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issues at non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Something big is happening at Hy-Vee. We just lowered thousands and thousands of prices on thousands and thousands of items in every aisle and in every department. Online, too. And on many of your favorite products, we've even matched prices with some of the biggest discount stores in the country. Because we get it, times are still tough. So we'll continue to work hard to bring you new lower prices on thousands of items. Things are looking different at Hy-Vee. Come see for yourself.
It's the best time of the year. It's tailgate season, and I'm going to be spending a lot of time at Hy-Vee's Wine and Spirits department. This week is the perfect time to stock up and save on wine, beer, seltzer, and spirits during Hy-Vee's Thirsty Thursday sale. This Thursday only, get a 50-cent Fuel Saver discount for every $50 you spend on beer, wine, hard seltzer, and spirits. I love seeing the price at the pump go down when I use my Fuel Saver card. Don't miss Thirsty Thursdays only at Hy-Vee. Offer valid at Kansas City area Missouri stores only. Hey, it's Bob Fesco, and you don't have to keep living with all of that joint pain. Real lasting relief is possible with help from QC Kinetics. People here are getting their lives back, getting their mobility back, thanks to QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in cellular therapies that can revitalize your joints. And I'm talking about advanced regenerative medicine, using your own body's healing properties, highly concentrated and carefully placed in your achy joint. Back pain, shoulder pain, knee pain. These are cutting-edge treatments that require no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. It's a quick in-office procedure that can get you moving again. You owe it to yourself to learn more. Call QC Kinetics today for your free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. 816 412-6299.
Tune in this week to Kickoff with Boomer and Valenti, where they break down all the headlines in the NFL. Presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com and get a great deal on the iPhone 16 Pro.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Is your everyday congestion preventing you from enjoying life's big moments? Try Vicks Sinex Saline today and get yourself back in the action. Vicks Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion with a gentle ultrafine mist. Sinex Saline's drug-free, no-mess formula instantly moisturizes and soothes dry, irritated nasal passages for quick and effective relief. Get back to enjoying life's big moments to the fullest without having to worry about everyday congestion holding you back. Just Sinex, breathe, use as directed.
With Labor Day savings at the Home Depot, you can get up to $1,500 off select appliances from top brands like LG, America's most reliable line of appliances, like the LG Smart Top Load Washer with easy unload angled front, so you can reach every last sock. Right now, get up to $1,500 off select appliances in-store and online with Labor Day savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid August 22nd through September 11th. U.S. only. See store online for details. America's most reliable line of appliances per independent study.
This is the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Royals baseball. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
Number one on What's Trending right here on 96.5 The Fan. Of course, Royals ALDS Game 2 tonight. That will be over on The Fan, 6:10 a.m. Vern's on Deck show starts at 5:30 ahead of the 6:38 first pitch. Cole Ragans on the bump against Carlos Rodon. We all know it's a best-of-5 series. Pretty simple. Can you find a way to split? Otherwise, you're facing elimination on Wednesday out at Kauffman Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much boils down to that, and we don't want to be facing elimination for the first home playoff game in this city in more than 9 years. Next up on What's Trending, Chiefs tonight, obviously, at Arrowhead. Monday Night Football against the Saints. According to Matt Derrick over at Chiefs Digest, Kareem Hunt will make the start tonight for Kansas City, despite being limited a couple of times in practice earlier or late last week due to his shoulder injury. It'll also be his first start as a member of the Kansas City Chiefs since he was cut off the team after his incident years and years and years ago. Now, obviously, Carson Steele started the game last week, but then fumbling trouble eventually led the game to being Kareem Hunt's day. Kareem Hunt will make the start for Kansas City. He'll be on the opening drive.
Totally should be. You know, other than the injury, I think it was pretty obvious after the Chargers. The Chargers game, he's the number one back until Isaiah Pacheco is back, whenever that day is. Months from now, who knows, right? Kareem Hunt, I think, with his performance, and you just got to hold. I mean, it's pretty simple. Carson Steele, you got to hold on the football. Andy will give you the ball back if you make a mistake, but if all of a sudden you're fumbling twice in a 3-game span, that's going to get you, especially with Kareem Hunt looking as good as he did. Next up on What's Trending, just elsewhere in baseball besides the Royals, we know earlier in the day is going to be the Tigers and the Guardians. Game 2 of that season, the Guardians up in that series. Guardians up 1-0.
Hammered them in game 1.
7-0 win over the Detroit Tigers. 3:08 first pitch. That game on TBS. Then tomorrow, NLDS Game 3s. The Phillies and Mets. That series locked up at a game apiece. What a game that Phillies-Mets game was.
Incredible.
Yesterday. Back and forth. Some just big-time moments throughout. And then the Dodgers and Padres also tomorrow. That series tied at a game apiece we referenced earlier. Some of the intensity that was in that series in that game yesterday.
Next up on What's Trending, local college football over the weekend. K-State was off. Missouri got hammered at College Station. Texas A&M taking them down 41-10. They dropped all the way down to 21 in the AP poll did Missouri. Texas A&M jumped up to 15. And Kansas did what they've done all season long. Lose a close football game, this time to Arizona State.
Yes.
35-31. They have had a win probability of greater than 70% in all 4 of their last 4 losses, and have lost all 4 of those games. So 3 by UNLV, 4 to West Virginia, 11 to TCU, but it was closer than that, and then 4 to Arizona State. They're playing a lot, and close against Illinois, too. So, they just keep losing close football games.
1-5, can't close out games. They're getting destroyed in the fourth quarter. They're getting...
it's a bad coaching. What the hell's their problem?
Yeah.
You keep blowing it late.
Yeah, I mean, right before halftime, they're giving up points, and then at the end of the game. I mean, to me, poor game management, special teams, disasters,
They have
a bad football team. So, yeah, it's on coaching. We can acknowledge the job Lance Leipold has done to bring this program up. That is all true. Nobody's taking that away. But you could also acknowledge it's been a bad coach team in 2024. They're 1-5. I don't know if Lance Leipold is willing to do it, but they should be firing either Borland, their special team. They should be looking at Borland. They should be looking at Jeff Grimes. Both really should be gone. I don't know if Leipold's willing to do it, but we've talked about, all 3 of us, the ramifications of this season from a long-term program aspect and buy-in and attendance and the new stadium, all of that. This is disastrous type stuff for them.
They have the 3rd most points in conference play in the Big 12, and they've lost every game.
Missouri can still get to the college football playoff, but boy, the whole all I got to do is beat Oklahoma or Alabama, those things, they'll just feel less likely after you get hammered by Texas A&M. That's the problem. Alabama didn't lose this weekend, though, so that was kind of nuts. Tennessee lost. Alabama lost to Vanderbilt. Did you see that stat that said that they had only given up 13 total points to Vanderbilt the entire time Nick Saban was the head coach at Alabama? Yeah. Total.
Vandy scored more points against Alabama than Georgia did.
College football. College football. Lastly, that is what's trending. I will say, though, don't forget, here in a couple weeks, we're going to be out in Las Vegas, broadcasting live from Circa Resort and Casino, circalasvegas.com. That's where you can book your stay to join us. That's Chiefs Raiders weekend, if you were wondering why we're out there. Thursday and Friday, we'll be doing our show from Stadium Swim, 143-foot screen. It's incredible.
It's awesome.
6 pools. It's going to be end of October, so it still might be 80 or something there. Here, it's going to start to be chilly. Friday night, we're going to host a big party at the Overhang Bar. And as I told you, if you're planning on being in Vegas, one, you should stay at Circa because the whole resort is fantastic.
Incredible.
It's also 21-plus resort, so which anybody that's been there sometimes, it's very nice. There are no kids running around or anything. It's actually really nice. And if you are going to just be out there, period, maybe you already have hotel plans, that's fine. You want to come to the party because, one, you get a chance to register to win tickets to game day. You get a chance to register to win a day bed at Stadium Swim. And just for RSVPing and showing up to the party, you get a free cocktail. But you got to RSVP. So
Make it a double. I don't care.
If you want to RSVP, just send a message to me or Cody on social media, at Alex Gold, at Cody Beats App. We can send you the direct link. I think there should be a social media post coming soon. But you'll want to RSVP if you haven't already. That way you can get entered.
Whether you were already planning on being there and haven't yet, or whether you're like, you know what, screw it, I'm going to go to Vegas in a couple of weeks because that sounds fun with the guys.
I'm ready.
It's going to be an awesome time. Also, October is going to fly by. Between Royals baseball, Chiefs football, I mean, it's just like a lot going on right now. It's throwing us off. I think that I wanted the single biggest story to just be like, okay, they walked a bunch of guys, and I'm not saying it wasn't. Walked 8 hitters, middle of the order didn't come through for the Royals. There were some obvious storylines for why they lost. And yet, what was the single biggest storyline out of the game? That there was a call at second base that appeared clear and convincing, I would say, to 99.9999% of society, including the Yankees broadcasters, the Royals broadcasters, the national TV broadcasters, the studio broadcasters when they went back to A-Rod and others, fans of both teams on social, like everybody. Everyone universally agrees that Chisholm was out, except for Jazz Chisholm and maybe his mom. Outside of that, I think everyone else thinks he was out. So why is it that the biggest story of that game on Saturday was that they couldn't overturn a call that was clear and convincing to the rest of society?
Yeah, it's part of the equation. That is not the sole reason why the Royals lost. You mentioned it. We'll get into it in a second. I mean, the 8 walks in a game. Serpa can't throw a strike. Salvi getting sent home from rounding third. I mean, there were mistakes. The Royals did it to themselves, but replay review is supposed to be there to correct mistakes on the field because we've all acknowledged there are humans making decisions. Okay, we're fine with that. Humans make mistakes. It's hard to see in live action. I'm all good with that.
Yeah,
but
that's
when
why
we go to
have
replay review and we got 30 angles in their command center in New York City, by the way, we can all see it. Bob Costas and Ron Darling even acknowledge it, and we know they're definitely not exactly Midwest guys for rooting for Kansas City by any means. They can acknowledge it. Post-game, some of the other TV crews on other networks acknowledged it. It was a pitiful non-overturn of a clear out at second base. Yeah, we can nitpick it and say, if Salvi just throws it a little bit lower, then sure, but they still had him out, even though it wasn't the best throw. Massey lays the tag down. Chisholm did not slide all that well.
No, it was kind of a weird slide.
So yeah, I mean, it was a factor. It's what I was most pissed off about in the moment.
Oh, God.
No doubt.
The walks, I hate bases on a walk. Oh, my God, I hate bases on a walk.
But let's acknowledge you have 8 walks. You pull out Michael Wacha to bring in Angel Zerpa, a move that worked with Lugo a couple days earlier.
But he doesn't.
But Zerpa didn't throw a single strike, man. Or didn't get a single out. Barely could throw a strike. I think he threw like 3 of them.
He threw a strike.
He did. He didn't seem like it, but he did eventually throw a strike. And then Salvador Perez. It's the bottom of the second or the top of the second inning. You would have had the bases loaded with nobody out, and Vance Wilson sends Salvi home, and he was out by a mile, dude. You watch the replay. Soto already has the ball getting ready to throw before Salvi's even going around third. It was pitiful. So they made their own mistakes, and yet still somehow had a chance to win. They lose 6-5.
So it wasn't the single biggest reason why they lost. I'll never say that. That's the loser's lament, right? Is the refs cost us the game.
Yeah, I hate that.
Shouldn't have called that pass interference. My bigger issue is that is a non-reviewable play. We are not talking about the same thing. The whole point of Major League Baseball review is to get the call on the field correctly, and they are terrible at it. They are worse than any other sport. Just get rid of it. They're so bad at it. Just get rid of it and let us live in our Dickinger moments. And if you're wrong, you're wrong, and if you're right, you're right, and so be it. You're not allowed to review it, so I just got to count on human eyeballs. And if we watched it, I'm just telling you, if there was no replay, if it didn't exist in baseball, and we watched it, we're like, damn it. I think he was I think he was out by, like this much. Damn. At least you would understand why the ump made the mistake. But when they're watching the same thing as us, this is why it's unforgivable. When they're watching the same thing as us, you're like, what are you doing, man? Come on. What, by like this? What are we doing? Are you buying into any, by the way? Are you buying into any of the deeper conspiracy? This is, so they went to New York, huh?
No.
For the old Yankees New York call. No. What do you think the odds are that the person reviewing this in New York is a Yankees fan, though? Do you want to admit that there's at least a 15, 20%, 30% chance that person's a Yankees fan?
There's a 5% chance.
5% chance?
You realize
he lives in New York when the Yankees have been the hottest team in town for 40 years? You think there's only a 5% chance that guy's a Yankees fan?
I do, because I'm going to squash the conspiracy pretty quickly here, because let's just step back for a second.
Mm-hmm.
How many people have a job that are not from the same city they have the job? I worked in multiple cities.
You currently
have
from there. Job in the one you're in, though.
I currently do. But
Drew is not from the city, but works here.
My point is, especially for Major League Baseball, especially since I'm assuming those in the command center used to be umpires at some point in time. No, I do not think they are all New York Yankees or Mets fans in the command center. There's not a requirement that says must have been from New York City to work at the MLB
sports up until this moment.
I bet you there's a bunch of umps that are from Texas or from L.A. or from Atlanta, Georgia, or whatever that are in there. I think the bigger problem is the part that I just said, which is they're all umps. They don't want to show up the dude on the field. That's the bigger problem. Not where these guys are from, but they don't want to reverse calls from their buddies. That's the bigger problem. It should be an independent arbiter.
They should just train dudes like me. Just like you train an umpire, except for I don't have to be on the field. You teach me the rules, you tell me what the rules are, and then you make me watch it. Because if I was watching that, even as any fan, it doesn't matter. He's out. He's out. Now, you're right. Going back to like the regular part of, I don't want this to come off as, I think that the umpires lost the Royals the game. No, I think 8 walks lost them the game. I think walking the leadoff hitter 4 times in 8 innings, because they only had to pitch 8 because the bottom of the ninth didn't get pitched, cost them the game. You can't walk the leadoff guy 4 times. I honestly think Vinny and Bobby and Salvi going like 1 for 15 or whatever in the game probably cost them the game. There are bigger reasons why. But man, this is my whole thing on, it's just my whole thing on review in general. I genuinely thought it was going to make the sport better. And in baseball, it makes it worse. Because you make me hate the call even worse somehow. They just get it right.
Feeling thing,
They,
though.
they get it wrong. They get it right. They get it wrong far too often. They get it right not often enough.
I think that,
and it just seems like that's the problem. It's like, just get rid of it if it's not effective. It doesn't matter.
Wasn't the reasoning that Major League Baseball gave was they said they didn't have enough angles when they had 24, however many, like they didn't have the right angle, I think is what they said.
They're telling you that you can't, because the glove doesn't bend, right? Or like they can't definitively tell you with no shadow of a doubt that the glove is physically making contact with his legs. I mean, unless you use your eyes, I guess.
I was going to say, it was obvious.
In which you can see that it is touching his leg. But that's when it's that close. They obviously decided to go with the call on the field, and they are claiming, which I think is this is the part that bothers me. This is the easiest thing to say in the moment. Michael, I think it was Q, said like after the game, they were saying that if they had called him out, they'd have kept it that way too. And you're like, oh, well, that's a real easy thing to say in the moment. I'm sure you were saying that. That's an easy thing to say in the moment. But the walk's the bigger problem.
Yeah,
the bullpen kind of blew it.
Serpa couldn't get it out. There were questionable strike zone stuff. Yeah, I would argue that was on both sides, though, in the game from the strike zone.
Yeah, I just didn't think it was
Juan
that.
Soto had a few pitches that I think squeezed the zone, or widened the zone, I should say. Obviously, Michael Wacha, one pitch in particular, I think we all remember, that was right on the corner, looked like a perfect pitch, and instead that was called a ball. So that is something that I think happens throughout a baseball game and was part of the frustration. The bigger thing was either the replay review that should have been overturned and it wasn't, or just the Royals pitchers were not good enough.
Yeah, they just didn't pitch very well.
And then
that's true.
The second inning, I just don't get it. We sometimes are overly critical about it, the aggressiveness on the base pass and things like that, but you have to know who you're sending. Your job, if you're Vance Wills, you have to know that you're not sending Bobby Wood Jr. around third. You're sending Salvador Perez around third. Juan Soto already had the ball in his glove. It wasn't like it was this amazing throw.
It could have been a bad throw in Salvi's.
Yes, he was out by a mile. I mean, Salvi already looked over. He was standing up like, oh, shoot. Like, he was out. Wasn't even close. So that's too many mistakes in a postseason game. In a tightly contested postseason game, you lose 6-5. You cannot have not only the inability to throw strikes and walk 8 batters throughout a game, you can also not be giving free outs when you could have had the bases loaded with nobody out in the second inning when you were seeing Garrett Cole so well.
The inning matters too here, because what you're pointing out, the fact that it is only the second inning, it is so early in the game. You don't have to press for runs yet. You don't have to squeeze every last piece of juice out of every run in the second inning. If this is the 7th, I actually feel like we feel different about the call. Because if they're, you're just trying to get a run, man, any way you can, right? It's late. You need them. You know you need them. You're running out on outs. Time's getting tight. You sometimes do get them more aggressive. Going back to the Alex Gordon, should they have sent him in the 2014 World Series, right? Late in the game, more pressure, I feel more inclined to be aggressive in those moments. But in the second inning, just let the bases be loaded and see what Gurriel, is that who's coming up? Let's see what he's got to offer. Or no, it's Tommy Pham.
No, Gurriel smartly advanced to third when they threw to home. That's the reason why the Royals got a run out.
Because Tommy
that
Pham
was smart.
hit the sac fly.
Yeah.
And so when you go back through, I just don't feel that bad. There were a lot of reasons why they lost. I know everyone's like, calm down, Cody, it's over. It's a stupid play, and they screwed it up really badly, so I'm annoyed at it. But yeah, there's other reasons why the team lost.
In 10 minutes, we'll get right back into the Royals. Their ALDS Game 2 tonight. Josh Vernier, our Royals insider, is going to join us. We'll ask him, of course, about that call and just how he sees this series going now. And is he as confident maybe as we are with Cole Ragans? And does he agree that Ragans kind of has to get into the 7th inning tonight with where things stand with the bullpen going up against the New York Yankees? But let's briefly talk about the AFC a little bit. We know the Chiefs will play tonight. We got to watch everybody else play. And boy, oh boy, there were 2 games in particular that reminded us, even when, and we wonder why we say the Chiefs are inevitable and like, how do they still win when they have these injuries or whatever? It's because as much as we could be it's much as we're frustrated at times with, maybe Andy kicks a field goal instead of goes for it and that stuff. Look at how both the Bills and the Bengals ended their games. The Bills-Texans game, for example. So the Texans and Bills are tied with I don't know.
This one was egregious.
What was there? A minute left, 27 seconds left, something like that. And it's a tie game. The Bills are back to their own 5. They can just run a couple plays, go to overtime. For whatever reason, Josh Allen and the Bills threw 3 straight times, stopped the clock. They wasted only 5 or 6 seconds or something like that off the clock. And so the Texans get the ball back on a punt.
They're inside the 10-yard line at this time, so no space.
The Texans get the ball essentially past midfield already off the punt. And that's why they still had to kick a 60-yard field goal from Fairbairn. But the fact that you could have just gone to overtime, obviously you got to win the coin toss, et cetera. That was ridiculous from Sean McDermott and Josh Allen and their offensive staff. They lose the game because of that. And then on the flip side, Cincinnati, they get a gift in overtime from Lamar Jackson. Just
fumbles
the ball's right in his hands on a snap and wasn't ready for it or whatever.
Looked like he was looking at the coverage one more time or something.
Then Cincinnati is already on the plus side of the field. They decide to go ultra conservative, run the ball. McPherson misses a long field goal. Then the Ravens end up getting a big run from Derrick Henry, and Tucker kicks a 20-something yard field goal, and they knock off.
I just thought it was coaching malpractice by both, but the Bills one was far more egregious.
When Josh Allen shouldn't even been in the game, you could say he shouldn't even have been in the game.
Oh, but that's not the coach's call necessarily, right? I mean,
that's the medical staff. He looked like he suffered a pretty hard hit towards the ground, was evaluated for a concussion.
I don't disagree with that, but letting Josh Allen's a great player. They had timeouts and 30 seconds to go. They want Josh Allen to take one pass to see if he can get 25 yards down the field, 30 yards down the field, and they can give themselves a shot to kick a long game-winning field goal. Cool. One, no problem. The other two, what are you doing? And in addition to that, when you're Josh Allen, if you know you can't complete that third one or it's going to be short of the sticks, get sacked.
Take a knee,
run,
something, yeah.
Do anything that includes making the clock move. This is the biggest problem, and this is the separation typically between Mahomes and the other two guys and Andy Reid and the other two coaches, right? In the biggest moment yesterday, Joe Burrow was great. Man had touchdown after touchdown.
Huge numbers.
After yards after yards. In the final drive when they needed him the most, what did he do? Threw a pick.
Right after the 2-minute warning.
And Josh Allen, in the moment when they needed his ass the most, what did he do? Threw an incompletion when he should have just gone down. His head's out of the game sometimes. He loses games in the most important moment. I've seen Josh Allen come through big sometimes. I've seen Joe Burrow. I'm not saying they never have those drives. I'm just saying if you put him in that situation 10 times, seemingly they don't come through for their squad like 5 or 6 of them. And that's not the number for Mahomes. He doesn't come through for his team once or twice. And that's what separates them from the rest of them.
In fairness, let me back up my guy. Jamar Chase said after the game he ran a bad route. Joe threw the pick. It was a great break by Marlon Humphrey. Lamar Jackson also screwed up as well. To me,
they're not 1-4. You know
I
what
also
mean?
think there's a separation between Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. By the way,
I know, but if we're looking at how they played, if we're looking at them messing up, I think that's fair to say all of that. Regarding the coaching, we've seen Andy make the same sort of decision that Zach Taylor's made, but it hasn't bit them in the butt because
he's got Harrison Butker.
He's got Harrison Butker and the defense. They back him up. Yeah.
Don't trust your defense if they're giving up 30 points a game. That's a bad decision.
Yes, that's what. In the one play, the thing I think that makes it the most frustrating about that Bengals game is the defense was so horribly bad that when they finally made a play, as soon as the Ravens won that toss, I thought the game was over. I was like, they're going to go right down the field. They're going to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
They made a play for you. They gift wrapped it, handed you the win, and you still found a way to mess it up. That was the most frustrating thing.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
And it went from Lou Anarumo's defense stinks to Zach Taylor is everybody says he needs to get fired today.
The Chiefs-Texan game later in the season, is that going to be for the number 1 seed?
It's looking more and more like that. I still think Buffalo will factor in the 1 seed conversation. I know they've lost a couple in
That's
a row.
That's a late season game. Reminder, that's a December 21st game. That's before they play 3 games in 10 days.
The Texans game is here. The Buffalo game is in New York. And if anything we know about the history, the Bills will win that regular season game. Don't worry. So, I know, you know what I mean? So, I think the Bills will still factor in the number 1 seed conversation at some point. But what we're talking about is you are, if you're a good team, you find ways to win even when you make mistakes if you're a good team. I don't disagree. Anything what you said about Joe Burrow's play, Drew.
Chiefs had a negative turnover differential in 3 of their 4 games.
Joe Burrow was statistically great yesterday.
Than the Vikings
but if we're going to say, they got a great offense, but it's just their defense, well, that's why they call it's a team sport. And they do not have the complementary piece on the other side. You just acknowledge it as well. Their coach has been making too many mistakes. Their defense stinks. They're 1-4. That's what bad teams find ways to lose. Great teams find ways to win. They're not a good football team. I mean, it's just the reality of the situation. Cincinnati, all jokes aside, early in the year about the Patriots, we've now seen 5 weeks of football. They're 1-4. They are not a good football team.
Correct.
Yeah, they got a great wide receiver. Jamar Chase put up big numbers. I'm sure he's thrilled about that. They lost, though. They're 1-4.
I understand, but it's not. I guess, and maybe that's the reason why they're bad, but you look at every single game, like if they don't have the pass interference penalty, they beat the Chiefs. It's nothing.
That's a lot of ifs and buts for 1 and 4.
But to me, it's nothing. The Chiefs did nothing to win that game. The Bengals lost. The Bengals straight up lost.
I think that's almost exactly the same point that Alex made. Losing teams find great ways to lose games.
Correct, but I think that there's some of the same conversation goes in. I think it has to be mentioned that if the shoe were on the other foot and it was the Chiefs that maybe they're not 1 and 4. But they're in these close games where who is it that is actually helping them win the games? Is it the Chiefs winning the game or is it the other team losing the game?
I don't think you can go through 5 years of evidence of Andy Reid winning these over and over and over again and not say that it's the Chiefs winning a little bit.
All right.
I guess Spags deserves
just
as much credit as Andy does, I think, in the conversation.
I mean, that's fine. All right, coming up next, let's get back to the Royals. They got a divisional series game 2 tonight, right over on the Fan AM 610, and we want to be joined by our Royals insider Josh Vernier. I want to ask him about Cole Ragans tonight and what does he think the baseline is for him. That's next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
You know what your parking lot looks like? Trash. I've been driving through it, and I'm sick of driving through these bad parking lots in Kansas City that make me feel like you don't care about your business. Over at Gann Asphalt and Concrete, they can solve that problem for you. One contractor, all things parking lot. One call to Gann for a streamlined project. They'll handle it all. So look, maybe you're a property manager like, man, I don't want to make 19 phone calls. You don't have to. They will fix crumbling curbs, uneven sidewalks, faded striping, the need for ADA ramps, seal coating. It doesn't matter what your project needs. Gann Asphalt is one call who will take care of the thing from start to finish. Maybe you need to tear up the whole thing. Start from scratch and go from the beginning. They can do that too, and have been working with local companies for 30 years. They're celebrating 30 years in Kansas City, a local company, a small business just like yours. They want to work with you to make sure your clients feel as comfortable as you are. I always tell you, go to GANNasphalt.com. See for yourself what people are saying about working with them, what the reviews are saying, about what it's like to work with a company you can know and trust. I'm happy to have been endorsing them for a couple of years and talk about the great work they do because I believe in the project and the work behind it. Give them a call or go to GANNasphalt.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Yeah, there are so many football games streaming this season. Can Xfinity Internet handle it?
Oh, we know the game is only live once, so we built a network with all-pro speeds and low lag so you don't miss a snap.
So I can yell, "He's open!" when he's actually open?
Yeah, but the quarterback still can't hear you.
Switch to Xfinity Internet and TV and enjoy instant access to your favorite live sports with the Xfinity Stream app. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed. Streaming content limited to the U.S. Programming subject to change.
The Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and our 2 soccer teams, the Current and St. Louis City SC, are all endorsing Amendment 2. Here's why you should support it too. Right now, Missouri sports fans are taking their money and placing their bets in Kansas and Illinois. We're losing our money to other states, money that could be invested in our schools. Amendment 2 fixes that. By legalizing sports betting, Amendment 2 will generate over $100 million for Missouri schools over the next 5 years. And there's a strong constitutional guarantee ensuring the revenue from sports betting will go to education. Kansas and Illinois know sports betting is a winner for their fans and taxpayers. It's time for Missouri to get into the game. Amendment 2 means over $100 million for Missouri schools. Join the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, Current, and St. Louis City SC in supporting Amendment 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
We interrupt with a special report from the Missouri Lottery. With a new millionaire every 8.1 days last year, there's no shortage of Missouri Lottery winners. However, there is currently a shortage of confetti. This may impact all confetti-related activities, hullabaloos, whoop-de-doos, jamborees, shebangs, and any and all festive goings-ons. Rest assured, Missouri Lottery winners will receive a single confetto with every big win for the time being. We apologize for the shortage, but not the winning. Thus concludes this report from the Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome. Play responsibly.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Fall's coming. You have a lot to prepare for. Back to school, family gatherings, and staying on top of your health. The virus that causes COVID-19 continues to evolve, so this fall make a plan for COVID-19 vaccination. Ask your doctor to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Our Labor Day savings start now at Lowe's. Right now, buy one, get one free on Valspar Reserve or HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Infinity or Showcase Interior Paint via Lowe's gift card rebate. Whether you're painting one accent wall or want to freshen up a whole room, we've got you covered. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details. Valid through 9/4.
Is your vehicle stopping like it should? Does it squeal or grind when you brake? Don't miss out on summer brake deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's time to review the top 3 highlights of the day. I'm joined as always by my co-anchor Snoop.
Hey, what up, though?
Snoop, number 1 has to be getting the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence at T-Mobile.
Yeah, you should hustle down to T-Mobile like a dog chasing a squirrel chasing a nut.
Nice analogy, Snoop. Dogs do love to chase squirrels.
And squirrels love to chase those nuts.
On to highlight number 2, at T-Mobile, families can save 20% every month versus the other big guys.
That is very impressive. You know, y'all can take some of those savings and buy some Snoop merchandise.
That's exactly what I'm planning on doing with my savings, Snoop. Now, take it away, Snoop.
Head to T-Mobile.com and get the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on them. Now drop that jingle.
24 monthly bill credits. Eligible trade-in on Go 5G Next. Well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 connection charge. Cancel entire account before receiving 24 bill credits and credit stop and balance on required finance agreement due. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See how you can save versus the other big guys at T-Mobile.com/switch. Apple Intelligence coming fall 2024.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery on select smart beds when you add any base. Ends Labor Day. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Visit eatandys.com to find the location nearest you. Top your day with a smile.
Let me tell you about my good friend Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from Kansas City, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Tailgate with a Pick 6, or grab a freshly made custom treat before or after a game. And tell him Mitch and Andy sent you.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll get to the random question of the day. Drew, you got to stay off the text line, man. You got to stay off the text line. It's not good. I see the responses.
It's not a safe place, man.
I see you responding. I don't think it's good for you.
I was telling Vern, man, I would kill for one game that the defense doesn't save Andy Reid. Andy Reid's going to make a decision where he's not conservative. Just one time.
I'm not trying to be an ass, but I'm not trying to be an ass. I'm not trying to be an ass at all. I really am not. And there's no other way for me to say this without maybe it sounding like that. But for 5 years, they've been in a run where they've gone to 4 Super Bowls and they've won 3. They're going for a 3-peat. You can't be like, man, for once, I hope they just don't rely on their defense. They've been doing this for years. It's just a terrible argument.
I want.
You mean this year's team?
I want Andy to be conservative, try to kick a field goal.
Oh, it's cost
he
him
misses,
games.
And
Andy's lost games.
I want to see it.
He's lost games where he pissed me off. That's already happened. That'll happen again, as a matter of fact.
But what a weird thing to say, though. Like, I want to.
I'm being a Bengals fan for the first time on the show. Normally, I'm very realistic, and I tell you what I turn
now
into
he's
a
like the
fan
other
once.
fan bases he's saying.
I turn into the fan base one time.
Rooting for the misery of your opponent is a normal fan.
Yeah, but like,
I turned into a fan one time.
It's almost on the verge of the caller from 2 weeks ago. Like, you're going to 3-peat, but you're not going to win 4 of them. Like, you guys are going to be 9-0 to start the season, but you're going to be miserable doing it. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. Anyway, we'll get back to that, I'm sure, at some point later.
Rent-free.
Okay, we're hosting a radio show in Kansas City, Drew. Let's talk about the Royals a little bit. We got. He says rent-free.
Rent-free.
I don't know what we're talking about. Let's talk about the Royals, though. I do know we want to talk about them for a little bit. We've got our Royals insider, Josh Vernier, joining us. Vern's on Deck show coming up at 5:30 over on the Fan AM this evening as Cole Ragans is set to hit the mound. Vern, do you have any liquid IV that you send over to the Bronx for one Cole Ragans to make sure these cramps don't become a problem?
No, but I'm sure the training staff has them well equipped. I second your advice to Drew, by the way. Close the text line, don't look at it, or you will be lost for the rest of the day.
Yeah, it's just not worth it, Vern.
I haven't looked. I just heard what he just said, and yeah, the text line is going to attempt to murder you via text message.
That might be what there was
your own mental health.
There was extra police present in the building today. I don't know why. Maybe it was because they were worried about Drew's safety.
It's for a different reason.
I thought Drew would be in a good mood with Tito Francona signing off the Reds today.
That was a really good hire.
Yeah, it was. Great hire.
I like Vern when managers go 2 different ways. Like, Tito left baseball for 1 year, and he's like, I can't do this. I cannot just live a normal life in which I'm not doing baseball. Ned Yost retired, and he was like canning his own tomatoes inside of 4 weeks. He was so done. By the time he quit, he's I'm never coming back.
You know, I think Ned's the aberration, to be quite honest with you. Look at Andy Reid, right? I mean, this is a guy that I think we all understood if he would have taken a year off, but he stuck with it. Tito Francona, he looked really good today. Looked like he lost a lot of weight. So hoping that he's in good health because he has a very talented team. Why am I talking about the Reds? I apologize.
No, you're good. Let's talk about Cole Ragans, though. Obviously, hopefully the cramps aren't a problem, but based off of the last 2 outings from the starting pitching where they haven't gone 5 innings, and I understand we could be critical on one day the move looks great for Q, the next day the player doesn't execute, and all of a sudden people are critical of pulling Michael Wacha. Tonight, though, man, I just can't imagine if it's the 5th, 6th, or heck, maybe even the 7th inning, if Cole Ragans, for the most part, is dealing, I just don't know if you can pull Cole Ragans before you get to the 6th or 7th tonight.
Yeah, listen, Wacha to me was clearly the correct decision on Saturday. He was up in the zone pretty consistently in those final 2 frames. I understood letting him face Gleyber Torres, but I think even if he would have got Torres, I don't believe that he's going to see Juan Soto a 3rd time. That to me is what I'm expecting tonight from Cole Ragans is when that Soto-Judge combo presents itself for the 3rd time, whether that's in the 5th, 6th, or 7th inning, that Cole Ragans is your best arm, is the best matchup, that he's been pitching so well. Of course we're going to allow him to face Soto and Judge a 3rd time. This is what we've talked about really all season. For even though the bullpen is much improved of late, Cole Ragans isn't Michael Wacha. And with all due respect to Seth Lugo's great season, Cole Ragans is even better than Seth Lugo. Look at the names that Ragans finds himself in when it comes to some of the nerdy Fangraphs war. He's a top 5 pitcher. The only pitchers that have better numbers this season than Cole Ragans are Chris Sale, Tarek Skubal, and Zach Wheeler. Skubal in his playoff debut, 6 shutout innings. Wheeler, 7 shutout innings. Chris Sale couldn't go, so he cost his team a postseason spot. And Cole Ragans in his debut, 6 shutout innings. Tarek Skubal needs to be the reason why the Tigers win this afternoon, and Cole Ragans needs to be the reason why the Royals win later on tonight.
When you look at the lineup, is it weird that I watched Vinny, Salvi, and Bobby not have good offensive days, Vern, but I feel as good about the offense as I have in weeks? Because if they're going to get production from not those 3 guys and score runs, well then imagine if they actually get the middle of the order going in a game together.
Yeah, I'm not. The reason why I agree with you is because Vinny's there.
Yeah.
I feel better about this team with Vinny on it, but no, watching Yuli and MJ have nice days. Michael Massey's only had good days once the calendars flip to October. That's nice, and I expect more quality at-bats. We talked about this last week with Yuli Gurriel. This is a guy that he's hitting 5th for you. You're relying on him big time. So that needs to be a constant. Michael Massey has the ability, yes, to make this a better-than-average offense, but I've seen MJ Melendez have nice days. The thing that makes him who he is inconsistency. So, listen, I'm not expecting to even see him, honestly, in the lineup today against lefty and Carlos Rodon. No. To me, the offense is better because you have Vinny Pasquantino, but the 5 runs that you put up in that game back on Saturday doesn't really change how I view this group, especially when a couple of those runs were gift-wrapped by an errant throw from the Yankees shortstop. So, however you felt about this offense going into this series, to me, that's how I'm still feeling.
When you look at the lineup for tonight, is it out yet, Vern? Do we know?
I haven't seen it, no.
I haven't seen it either. Do you expect that they'll maybe put Freddie Fermin in and then switch Salvi to first for that kind of thing? What do you think they'll do lineup-wise today, knowing that they got the lefty on the mound?
Yeah, Yuli's too good. I need that bad, and shoot, man, he made a pair of very nice throws at first base in that game on Saturday. I know it's first base, but I remember Lucas Duda's inability to make that throw.
That's right.
And let's be real, Freddie really didn't finish the season the way that we wanted. So I'm still running Vinny out there. I'm going to let Michael Massey face the lefty. I'm keeping Mike Hell in there at third. This is my opinion, but corner outfielders, I'm going Renfroe in right, Pham in left. Neither one of them have really good numbers off of Carlos Rodon. I'd still put Izzy out there for defensive purposes, but I wouldn't be surprised if Garrett Hampson gets the start as they play the matchup. Only lefties I would pencil in right now would be Michael Massey and Vinny Pasquantino.
We're talking to Josh Vernier, our Royals insider. I want to hit on 2 quick things because it was certainly the talk of Royals fans on Saturday night, and how much we put on these things for the loss. I don't know. I don't think it's a huge chunk, but your thought on Salvador Perez getting sent from third in the second with nobody out at that point in time. And then we can get into the replay situation as well, where I think everybody believed Chisholm was out, yet they go to review, and of course, they botch the call.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I wasn't surprised that they didn't overturn it. Now, do I believe that he was out? Yeah, I do, but I can understand how it's not 100% clear and convincing. It's similar to the home runs that Cole Ragans gave up a few months ago, especially one to Big Christmas at Kauffman Stadium. That
still feel like I'm crazy watching that one. Yes.
But you didn't have, I didn't have a 100% certainty that was a foul ball back then. I didn't have 100% certainty that Jazz Chisholm was out. The send of Salvador Perez in the second inning. Listen, I'm normally the guy that says if you're not getting thrown out on occasion, you're not being aggressive enough. And I'm all for this team being aggressive. And I've seen Vance Wilson make that send plenty of times. But I haven't seen him make that send when it comes to Salvi, with a Yuli, with a Vinny Pasquantino, with one of the more plodding runners. That to me is one of the 4 moments in this game that I don't want to say disappointed me, but to me, there were 4 moments in the game that overshadowed whatever you want to blame the umpires for or replay for. You know, a missed strike call against Bobby or a missed strike call that went against Michael Wacha in the game. To me, Sam Long can walk the 9-hitter. Salvy's a future Hall of Famer. He's got to make a better throw to Massey to get Jazz Chisholm there at second base.
Yeah.
Vance Wilson can't send Salvy there in the second inning, and John Schreiber can't walk in a run there in the 6th inning. So, yeah, Vance, Salvy, you know, I'm going to, especially a guy like Salvy, when you are a future Hall of Famer, we're going to hold you to a higher standard. So, and I expect Salvy to make that throw tonight. I expect Vance Wilson to put up the stop sign tonight. I expect Sam Long to throw strikes to the first batter that he faces, especially if it's the 9-hitter. That's what made it for me easy to turn the page after that tough loss back on Saturday.
Vern, do you, like some Yankees fans in my mentions over the weekend, think that Kauffman is a more hitter-friendly park than Yankee Stadium?
Well, I mean, that depends on what you're looking for. Are you a gap-to-gap guy? You're trying to hit triples? Sure, yeah, it's easier to do at Kauffman Stadium, but you know, MJ goes 363 to the opposite field, and it looks like a blast compared to 339 from Gleyber Torres the inning before. Yeah, that's a joke in right field. Now, you know, the amount of triples that you're able to accumulate at Kauffman Stadium, some could also view as a joke.
Yeah, I guess, but man, who's complaining about this team makes it too easy to triple? Maybe it's just because they got Bobby Wood Jr. Maybe he just makes the triples.
Well, I mean,
look
there
easy.
are numbers, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Because of triples, your OPS can go up, and yeah, you can make it look like Kauffman Stadium's a more hitter-friendly place than Yankee Stadium. But it's baseball, Cody. You know this. I mean, you can find a number to back up really whatever silly claim you want to make.
For sure. Now, look, we thinking of numbers and math and everything. We all know it's pretty simple that if you lose tonight, you got to win out if you're the Royals. But is tonight, like with the way the series has started, if you don't get the split in New York, do you believe the Royals have a chance to force this thing to go the distance?
Yeah, I would. You still have, you know, Ragans going again. You get Lugo coming up in Game 3. Wacha going opposite a beatable Garrett Cole. You know, especially if you can hit Luke Weaver, who suddenly is nasty in that
what's
Yankees
up with
bullpen. No, you wouldn't feel good, and the thing that would disappoint me with the loss tonight is the anxiety that would be brought into Kauffman Stadium by Royals fans for that game on Wednesday. I just want that place electric, expecting a win, not dreading a loss. That's what concerns me. But no, if they lose this game tonight, I've just watched this team, been around this team, listened to this team enough that you know that today mantra will really come in handy. And no, I wouldn't be surprised to see them rattle off 3 straight wins, especially with Lugo, Wacha, and 2 of them at Kauffman Stadium.
Josh Vernier, our Royals insider, his on-deck show tonight, 5:30. That's going to be over on the Fan AM at 6:10 a.m. Vern will be listening, and obviously we'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, guys. Thank you.
There you go. That's Josh Vernier as the Royals get set a little bit later on tonight. 6:38, I'm sorry.
We're your home for the Royals and Chiefs, so you can catch us both. 96.5 The Fan for the Chiefs game tonight. Pre-game starting at 4, and as you said, 5:30. Vern's pregame will start over at the Fan AM at 6:10 a.m. So perfect time. Great night in the city. Now, if they get the double wins, we're going to be riding high tomorrow.
It's got an opportunity to be a really special night. It really does, and obviously vibes could be very strong tomorrow morning if the Chiefs stay undefeated and if the Royals even this series up before it comes back to Kauffman. I was looking at just updated ticket pricing just to see for Wednesday, and I wonder if we'll see a shift. I mean, no matter what the result is tonight, there are repercussions for
200-something
with fees. Now, pick your favorite broker site, but with fees, it looks like actual seats, cheapest is $225, standing room $229 right now. Looks like there's one standing room for $209. That's just on one of the national ticket broker sites with fees, so it's a little bit less than that. So I think that based on that, the pricing's gone down a little bit in the last 24 hours. I wonder though if this thing gets to a point where you think there's going to be only one game, meaning that they don't split tonight, and then you still don't know if Thursday's going to happen. I wonder if you see the prices go up, because if they split tonight, then you know you could buy tickets Wednesday or Thursday. You're getting a game. If they lose tonight, there's a chance Wednesday is the last one.
But it's also
not.
like if they lose, then you're like, am I going there to watch the?
I know.
I think either way, ticket prices staying high. I will say, I saw multiple people in the text line throughout the day ask these things, and I still think it's insane because everyone would choose the other. Like, if you knew the Chiefs were going to lose tonight, but it guaranteed a Royals win, would you take them? Like, yes. One Chiefs regular season loss is not sending me anywhere.
Yeah, I'm not into that guarantee game stuff with that. I don't know.
No, but like
I hate that. I honestly cannot stand that. Like,
because they're
unrelated. They're unrelated, but also because I know the Chiefs can win. They win a lot of football games. Why am I even in this position of like guaranteeing a loss? Like, I'm not going to. Yes, do I want are there ramifications?
You would take the trade off. You're happier tomorrow if it's Chiefs lose, Royals win, than the inverse. Royals lose, Chiefs win. You're happier tomorrow, and we all should be if the Royals are the winners today. But they can both win tonight, and we can just be going to the week.
Yeah,
going to the week right.
I guess I'm greedy. I think maybe Carrington had a poll 2 days, like a week or two ago. It was going into the a game, and it was like if the Royals or the Chiefs would lose 2 in a row, but it meant the Royals would like make the playoffs or something. I'm like, no, I'm just not doing that. We don't need to be exchanging wins.
I was like, I think both teams are winning. As of right now, would be the evidence. Just need the Royals to get the win tonight.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Drew, over in the text line, 913-586-7965. Of course, you can always subscribe to us on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. That's where we live stream the show 4 hours a day. You can see Golden is AL 14
I need
champion.
some new gear, man. I need
Anyone
another
ever call
ALC.
you? Anybody call you Al?
My twin sister occasionally. It doesn't happen all the time.
Interesting.
Occasionally it'll be like, "Hey Al," it's a very quick. She's like the only person. Mom,
but she'll occasionally hit you with an Al, huh?
Occasionally my twin sister or my mom. Other than that, it's very
That's
rare.
not the random question. I just saw AL and I thought Al, and then I was like, I wonder if anyone ever calls Alex Al.
It's happened.
Sorry, just
go ahead.
Probably a moment of ADHD or something. My random question instead for you is about whether or not you'd watch this particular show with your loved one. So we all know that some shows and some channels are geared towards more female-driven audience or male-driven audiences.
Sure.
But we're both, Drew, you're married, I'm married. Alex, you might meet a nice young lady here in the next couple of weeks. Who knows?
Next couple
World
weeks.
Series run, you know, the excitement, the glee of the bar scene, whatever. The point is, would you watch this show if your significant other wanted you to watch it with you? There is a series in development over at Bravo following the wives and girlfriends of the Kansas City Chiefs players. So pretty soon on Bravo. So you're watching that. You were in so quick. You don't even need the girlfriend angle.
I'll watch.
You said you'd watch immediately.
Of course I'll watch.
Now, Brittany Mahomes and Taylor Swift already reportedly are not going to be part of it.
There's no way.
That does not surprise me by any means. But there is a series in the works right now. They're just working on the cast to be finalized, but they're working on a series over at Bravo following the wives and girlfriends of current Chiefs players. I just want to know whether you're in or not. That's my random question.
Yeah, of course I'll watch because it's a tie with the Chiefs. It'll be interesting, you know?
Sure, why not?
God, you said that so quick.
The people that are reportedly already possible are the fiance of McCall Hardman.
Yeah, Sharia Gordon.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then I think there was one other.
Shauna Weathersby, and I can remember her relation to the team.
I mean, does it matter? You know?
Well, I'm just curious which Chiefs player is.
She has a couple of kids with Chris Jones.
Okay, there you go.
She has 2 kids with Chris Jones.
Yeah, why not? Fine. This, by the way, just speaks again, just like the Hallmark movie. Thank you very much. That the Chiefs, just everybody wants a piece of the Chiefs. The Chiefs bring eyeballs.
Just no matter the thing from the 816, my wife would divorce me if I wanted to watch that show. Everybody's relationship's a little bit different. My wife has no interest in watching shows like this. She watches all of her TV, like her main TV viewing is crime show procedurals. Yeah. I would say like that's a huge chunk. She doesn't watch any like trash reality. I'd probably have to convince her to watch this show rather than the other way around, if we're being honest, based on the description of this show.
The one
It'd be hard not to watch at least a little.
Though.
I'm kind of the whole shows are designed to have drama.
No.
But that's the whole setup of these shows. Is
yes,
drama.
Thank you. But I was going to finish my sentence, and then I was going to explain. We know, the Real Housewives of like New Jersey. Yeah, there's plenty of drama. I have seen that episode or two of that show. I'm saying because this has still a tie to an NFL player in the Chiefs. I don't think we're going to see McCall Hardman's fiance fighting with somebody on the show.
I think that might happen on the show.
Well, then that's going to be incredible.
Andy Reid's going to hate it. Andy Reid already hates the idea that this show might be workshopped. This is his nightmare. A Bravo show, every Bravo show is designed around the exact same thing you're talking about.
I know.
Drama, infighting, backstabbing.
As long as
over the top party celebrate. That's the entire basis of every show.
I want one of the Cincinnati Bengals players so we can see them losing their damn minds right now. That's what I want.
I think Bravo would want, in a way, to make their show more interesting, they don't want the Chiefs to keep winning in a way, because if they win, everything's great. But if, say, somebody drops a pick or whatever late in a game and somebody's wife is on the show, all of a sudden one wife calls out, that's where the show gets spicy.
Do you think, though, that do you think the wives are constantly talking about the play of their husbands on the field? I doubt that's their everyday conversation.
I've been on the show every once in a while,
At some point, something's going to come up.
Personal lives,
yeah.
I don't like you because of this, and not only that, but also your husband messed up in this, and then it gets into that's where it gets reality TV-ish.
But like, this is where, like, if I were a player, I wouldn't want it. Like, because these shows are based on, like, McColl's girlfriend talking with the other girl about their sex life and stuff. You're like, oh man, it's just out on the streets. It's just out on the streets. That's it. I just want to know whether or not you're in. Sounds like everyone's in.
This did take a spin though on social media. People were asking, they were begging for the Patriots dynasty to come back on social media. I don't know if you guys saw this morning. People are like, my God, I want the Patriots dynasty back, please.
They hate the Chiefs dynasty so
much.
That's
the Hallmark.
Now I know
for the Patriots to come back.
Now I know they're desperate. They're asking for the Patriots to come back. Now I know teams are.
Text, I got very confused. No, the reported show is Nicole Hardman's fiance and then Chris Jones's partner or whatever, mother of his children. Not yet. That's just to clear up that people thought, no, two different people.
Those are reportedly two people who are already on board.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I got for you.
That's the random question of the day. Up next, though, let's get back into the offense for the Royals, not the Chiefs right now. We'll get to the Chiefs in a second. How about the Royals and what to expect? Because the heart of the order was not productive in Game 1. Can they make it through without that being the case again? That's next.
Cody and Gold.
I didn't sleep well. I was drunk.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
Well, let's cap off the NFL Week 5 slate with a chance for a big win on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win a bet on tonight's game. Of course, I'm talking about Monday Night Football, Saints at the Chiefs. Build out that same game parlay like Patrick Mahomes to go over on his passing yards or Alvin Kamara to go over rushing yards. Travis Kelce maybe for an anytime touchdown. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to make every moment more this season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Calling all Kansas City football fans to downtown Las Vegas. Join us at Circa Resort and Casino this October for the ultimate game day getaway. Huddle up at Overhang Bar with 96.5 The Fan for our pregame tailgates on Fridays with drink specials and giveaways, including a pair of game day tickets. Then catch all the action at the world's largest sportsbook or lounge in the center of it all at America's favorite place to watch football, Stadium Swim, featuring 6 pools and a massive 143-foot screen. To book your Huddle Up experience, visit circalasvegas.com today.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
Hey, it's Bob Fesco, and I'm here with my friend Brian Manning of Manning Roofing. Why is it important to deal with a roofing company that understands the insurance side of the business?
First of all, you want to make sure that you get all of the damage covered at your property. We have a very experienced team that's licensed and insured. We do roofs, windows, siding, and gutters, along with some interior trades, and we can make sure that all of the damage is taken care of.
I've used Manning Roofing at my house, so set up your appointment today at manninggc.com or 816-448-8208. The choice is simple. It's Manning Roofing.
Gates Barbecue is sure to please your palate for lunch or dinner. Gates sauces and seasonings can be ordered online at gatesbarbecue.com or stop by any of their 5 locations and bring Gates sauces and seasonings home today. Whether a family get-together or entertaining friends from out of town, it all goes best with Gates Barbecue. And nothing says Kansas City barbecue like the great flavors of Gates Barbecue, a Kansas City tradition.
'Tis the season of giving from the Kansas Lottery. So instead of one gift, give 2 or 3. With holiday instant tickets from $1 to $20, don't sweat last-minute gifts because you will have plenty. Forget about Santa and his super fast sleigh when the folks on your list can win up to $100K. Give Kansas Lottery holiday instant tickets this season. They're festive as heck and the winnings are pleasing. See kslottery.com for all the details. Sorry, this holiday story has gone off the rails.
We're hiring residential garage door installers at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Join the team trusted here since 1927. Apply today, get a call today. No experience necessary. Paid training for motivated applicants to install garage doors. Hiring bonus up to $2,500. Mechanical, carpentry, or service industry experience is a plus. Good benefits include health, dental, vision, and pension. Earn as you learn to service the best garage door customers in KC. Apply today at overheaddoorkc.com.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out.
Oh, Downy in the rinse straight.
Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean.
Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
Pizza just goes better with Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Pizza. Thank you.
But don't take our word for it. In fact, don't take any words for it. Crispy and cheesy, paired with delicious and refreshing. My mouth is watering already. Ooh, too high. Yeah, we've all been there. Every bite is better with Pepsi.
Fall's coming. You have a lot to prepare for. Back to school, family gatherings, and staying on top of your health. The virus that causes COVID-19 continues to evolve, so this fall make a plan for COVID-19 vaccination. Ask your doctor to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Our Labor Day savings start now at Lowe's. Right now, buy one, get one free on Valspar Reserve or HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Infinity or Showcase Interior Paint via Lowe's gift card rebate. Whether you're painting one accent wall or want to freshen up a whole room, we've got you covered. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details. Valid through 9/4.
Save on O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner. Get 2 cans of O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner for just $8. Valid in-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Listen to the Chiefs and Saints game on Monday Night Football with pregame starting at 4. Kickoff just after 7 with Mitch, Danon, and Kling. Right here on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. KFNZ FM and AM. HD1 and HD2 Kansas City. An Odyssey sports station.
1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold.
Just laughing at people.
The text from the report that there's a Bravo TV show in the works for Chiefs' girlfriends, wives, whatever. And
Wags, you know?
That's
Wags
right. There you go. Someone said, what if it was Mahomes' wife with Butker's wife with Taylor Swift all on a show? Ratings, baby. That would we call that ratings.
All those people are worth too much money.
All 3 of them would never agree to it, so don't have to worry about that ever happening. But yes. Someone else said, what if they put the moms of some players on the show? That could be interesting, given recent headlines.
I mean, Donna Kelsey's very popular.
Oh, for sure.
Donna Kelsey headlining your show. If it's moms, then I mean,
I think you just got to keep you just got to keep people's moms out of it. You know, you don't have to put the moms on there.
I mean,
it's doing too much.
I gotta be honest though. I mean, if Alex's mom shoplifting, I mean, I think you can say something. I don't think it's like off the table. Like, I mean, there's I think mostly yes. Let's keep
or
our moms
allegedly stealing things off porches or anything like that. That would be interesting.
Slightly different conversation. That's all I'm saying. There's a line before we're allowed to bring it up. That's all.
All right. Let's talk about the.
Let's talk about people's mamas.
We aren't. We aren't. I'm just reading a text. Reading a text, Drew.
My mom would have given you guys
that one
so
too.
much.
This person's included.
So my mom would have given you so much content when she was alive, but I don't have to worry about that now.
Jeez. Good goodness.
Oh, I can't make. This show can't make dead mom jokes now.
Oh, man.
Okay, fine.
Goodness.
I handle my grief with humor. I don't know how the rest of you deal with grief. Probably like healthy, normal, adjusted human beings.
I like to laugh, but I don't go to your level of like.
Oh, it's not that dark.
Davidson-esque comedy.
You like to laugh at the things that took place, but not the dark part of it.
Sure.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm kind of all over the board.
Let's talk about the Royals, please.
Okay.
We've gone through, I think, what were the most controversial moments of Saturday night. One thing, though, on one hand, you're like, hey, the bottom of the order, and guys like MJ Melendez and Tommy Pham got key hits, and that's a good thing. That's true. On the other hand, I think it's pretty obvious, whether it's tonight, whether it's a game on Wednesday, and if we're fortunate, this thing goes to Thursday, et cetera, Bobby, Vinny, and Salvi are going to have to come up in a huge way for them. Bobby was 0 for 5. Vinny was 0 for 5. Salvi was 1 for 4. I don't think that's going to be replicated tonight. Just like the Royals,
hard to imagine it would
shut
be.
down Aaron Judge. He was 0 for 4. I'm sorry. And it was guys like Austin Wells and Alex Verdugo that ultimately beat them. Soto did go 3 for 5.
He had a nice night.
I don't like. My guess is tonight Aaron Judge is coming up with a pretty good size hit. Whether it's a home run, hopefully not. I don't know.
Maybe
my
just a
guess is
single.
Bobby Wood Jr. is not going 0 for tonight.
Agreed.
So where are you at on kind of the big three for both ends? I think they're probably saying the same thing in New York. Like, all right, where Aaron
We could
Judge
have way more runs.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Royals. Here's the one thing I'll say is Salvador Perez has been a pretty good postseason hitter. Aaron Judge has been not a good postseason hitter, or at least statistically way below what he is in the regular season. Salvi's pretty close to on par with what he's been as a regular season hitter in the postseason. I would say there is a little bit of fear of, I haven't really watched Vinny and Bobby Wood Jr. hit in the postseason very often. In the first series, Bobby Wood Jr. came up with a 2-game winning RBI. So do I think he's going to just no-show the series? No. I looked it up to confirm. The text line had said it earlier, and I wanted to double-check. The last time Bobby Wood Jr. went 0 for 5 was June 18th. June. Okay, so do I think he's going 0 for tonight? No, I don't. And Vinny is just as a professional of a hitter as it comes. He will give you good at-bats. He will swing the stick well. I still think he's looking at some strikes he would have never looked at pre-injury because he's getting his timing back. But I have no fear that the three of them will help produce. The real question is, can they still get production out of the bottom part of their order? Because if that's the case, then they're on the verge of having one of these games be an offensive explosion. And I think you and I both agree, if they ever score 6 or 7 in a game, it's a wrap. I think their pitching's too good to not win those games.
I think in a game in which Cole Ragans is pitching tonight, I'm with you. I would argue, though, we just saw a 6-5 game, and so 6 runs wouldn't have been enough either. It would have taken 7, So, and that with Ragans, I kind of agree that 4 or 5 runs, you probably like your chances to win every single time with Cole Ragans on the mound. We just saw them with Michael Wacha on the mound, in which they pulled him fairly early, but I am kind of with Vern as well, where it didn't work, but also Michael Wacha was struggling at that time in terms of his command, and you weren't going to let him face Soto and Judge a third time through the order. So, but man, when you look at the pitching performances from Cole Ragans, yes, I haven't gotten through every single one. My guess is in games in which the Royals score 4 or more runs than Ragans starts, I'm guessing. I'm guessing.
He's had a couple of bad outings, so it's not like, no pitcher is
They definitely
infallible.
don't have more than 2 or, if you told me before Ragans was pulled, 6th, 7th inning, and if the Royals ever had 4 runs, my guess is they probably only lost one or two of those all year. If
maybe in the last 2 years combined.
Yeah.
Like I'd have to really go through. But I mean, in what universe would the Royals do that? Cole Ragans has only given up. He's had 2 bad starts this season, where he's let up 7 runs each. They were all in April and May. Since since May 11th, his worst start of the entire season, he went 5 innings and let up 5 runs to the Houston Astros on August 31st. He also struck out 10 in that start, if you remember. He absolutely had it. He made a couple of weirdo bad pitches and eventually got himself in trouble. That's his worst start since May 11th. Other than that, he has been pretty much 3 earned runs or less. He gave up 4 once. So, I mean, if you get 5 or 6 runs, 6 or 7 runs, it's done. In a Cole Ragans start, that's done. That's supposed to be
the good news
night.
is you would like to think, even against this order, Ragans is capable of shutting them down to the point where this is in the 7th inning and it's a 2-1, 3-1 ball game. I don't think that's the final score.
Yeah.
But Ragans is the only pitcher on the staff where I actually think in this series you could have a 3-1 win or something. Otherwise, I just don't think that's realistic. We just saw that play out already on Saturday night. They also got to make sure the guy is hydrated. We're not even.
You're not even joking. You cannot leave this game early with cramps.
I'm not joking. He is too valuable and too good to have another instance like he did in Baltimore, where he was cruising, low pitch count, and he started to have cramps, and they had to go to the pen in the 6th inning or after the 6th inning, and he would have come back out for the 7th. If he's pitching anywhere near that level, he has to be pitching in the 7th inning. So you pick your favorite formula, an actual IV, liquid IV, a bunch of those lemon lime packets of liquid IV. I don't know, man. Something every half inning. I don't care what you got to do. You cannot let cramps be the factor. I don't even know what the weather's supposed to be like tonight. And it wasn't even hot in Baltimore when he had it. I don't know what the New York City.
I think it was supposed to be like pretty moderate always.
76 degrees. Okay, it's a nice night in New York City.
Yeah, that sounds lovely.
You cannot have the cramps become a problem.
No, I don't. I guess I assume that they'll put that problem behind there, and we'll see.
Twice in the last month.
But twice in the last month is concerning. But he's also, like Vern said earlier, I view Cole Ragans in a different light than I view the other guys. They've had a top 3 starting rotation in baseball the entire year. Singer had a great year. Walker had a great year. Lugo had a great year. I put Cole Ragans in his own little separate category of my expectations and the level of pitcher he is. All of those guys had really good years, had really good seasons, are good pitchers, are great pitchers at sometimes this year. Cole Ragans is an ace. And when you throw an ace in a game, the similar as Tarek Skubal will go for Detroit today in game 2 of their series to try to get a win against the Guardians. If you're going to win a series, Cole Ragans has got to be part of the reason you did. That's why I feel like this game feels like a win, is because if I think they're going to win the series, I have a chance to compete in the series. Cole Ragans got to win today.
Yeah, I
the Royals got to win it. Cole Ragans got to be good tonight so that we can come in tomorrow and be like, tomorrow, and be like, they're winning this game on Wednesday too, and they're going to start sticking to these teams where the matchups do favor you in some of these other pitching matchups, including tonight.
But there is truth to, I know this team has been resilient all year. I know when people count them out is sometimes where they figure it out and are at their best, et cetera. All that's true. But if they don't win tonight, I just don't believe against the New York Yankees lineup and knowing one of the next 3 after, even if you've won 2 in a row as a New York, I don't believe this team is winning 3 in a row. As far as after falling down.
It'd be hard to be predictive that they're winning the series after they fall down to 0-2.
You know what I mean? Because then there's the momentum thing too. Now, you split tonight, momentum is all on your side. You're fired up. You're coming back to Kauffman Stadium. You are set up with Seth Lugo on Wednesday, and that's why playoff baseball is great. It's such a swing tonight in the entire series, because you're facing elimination on Wednesday.
And it would have been a big swing in the first one if the Royals had already won it. Then today we'd have felt like we were free rolling.
Yeah, house money for sure. Playing with house money if that's not the case tonight.
Pressure's on the Royals. Still more on the Yankees, but there is pressure on the Royals to keep this series going and to keep playing it away where we feel like they're going to win this series.
Do you think they'll take the same aggressive approach in the first inning as they did? Garrett Cole, they were seeing the baseball well. They attacked him right away to the point where Garrett Cole only had like 4 or 5 pitches in the first inning because the Royals made great contact, but they swung at first pitches. Do you think they're more patient with Rodon, or do you think we see an aggressive Michael Massey right away at the plate?
I think they've been historically more patient against Rodon, and we can't be sure Michael Massey's in the lineup.
Could be Pham.
Vern thinks it's that. It is a lefty on the mound. Sometimes they've gone Tommy Pham, or they've gone Paul DeJong. They play Paul DeYoung at third, and then they move Michael
playing forever.
And then they play Michael Garcia over at second base sometimes against those lefties. So they could go with the proper platoon split. I just don't know how you take Massey's bat in the lineup based on the way he's hitting.
No,
he's between his defense, he made another great play yesterday. He made the play of the previous game. How the hell can you tell me Michael Massey doesn't deserve to be in that lineup?
Oh, I think he's in the lineup.
That's crazy.
The only question would, be if he's leading off or is Tommy Pham leading off. I think MJ Melendez, I agree with Vern, he won't be in the lineup because of the matchup that you have tonight, right? You would agree with that.
I would think MJ's out,
Renfroe and Pham will be in the outfield.
Agreed.
And then later on in the game, look, if there's a pinch hit opportunity, I actually kind of like MJ in that spot because of right field and the short porch we talked about. So that I'm fine with that, but I'm with you. Defensively and also just really good appearances from Michael Massey at the plate right now.
He's seen the ball well.
In an offense that is still not all of a sudden just hitting like crazy, and that has now had a game in which Bobby, Vinny, and Salvi did not hit, I think you actually need Michael Massey in the lineup.
This conversation is exactly what we talk about, where I want the dream manager, the dream organization is a blend of what the numbers tell you to do and what you should actually do. Technically, the numbers tell you shouldn't start Michael Massey, and that you should go with a righty-heavy lineup against Carlos Rodon's entire career splits against lefties versus righties. He is not a reverse split guy. He is better against left-handed pitching. He always has been. But Michael Massey is hitting well. He is giving you great at-bats. He is playing great defense. And if you know that in your brain, no matter what the stats on a piece of paper tell you, the right guy to start today is Michael Massey. And we'll get a full lineup here, I'm sure, at some point today.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what it is. We mentioned it, kind of the interesting numbers with these two teams. I mean, good news for the Royals. We already talked about Cole Ragans and him pitching, and the Yankees overall against a lefty, right? He's been able to hold batters to a .213 batting average on his fastball, but also the Yankees struggle against left-handed pitching. Overall, they're 18th in slug in the league, .235 batting average. That's 24th in the league. So that's how they are. And then on the flip side, the Royals, this probably surprises you a little bit in terms of who they're going up against. The Royals, 17th in the league in hitting southpaws. Slug, though, is 23rd. And so that's the thing. Maybe that changes because of the ballpark tonight, but the slug is
Certainly
really low.
hurt, does it?
The slug is really low, but maybe right field helps them. But they're actually in the middle of the pack against left-handed pitchers in average.
In a lot of ways. And so maybe this is another low-scoring game. Look, with Cole Ragans, or not another, the first low-scoring game of this series. But I just think that there's a pretty good chance in there. Someone said Massey's average is slightly higher against lefties, 67 plate appearance. They've pulled them, but this has been a heavy platoon team. When there's a lefty on the mound, it's righty, 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 righty. When there's a lefty, unless they've got reverse splits, Vinny seemingly is the only left-handed hitter that they were just putting in no matter what, regardless of the circumstances. Like Vern said, you can make an argument for Isbell as well, but I won't be surprised if it's Garrett Hampson in center field, and then the second a righty comes out of the bullpen, in comes Kyle Isbell for the late inning defense to couple along with the left-handed side of the plate. I think they like doing that because then they think they can take advantage of a guy, especially with the new rules in baseball over the last couple of years where that guy's going to have to face more than one guy. You got a righty-righty, you bring in the lefty. You can face multiple lefties in a row. You're going to have to face those guys, and you might find a platoon advantage there. The Royals have liked taking advantage of that.
Coming up in about 25 minutes or so, we'll get to game predictions for Chiefs and for Saints. We'll also get to game predictions for Royals and Yankees tonight. That's coming up.
Game prediction.
We'll also get your guys' predictions over on the J Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. It's also the hotline because in that same time frame here in the next segment, I want to take some calls about how you're handling tonight. Earlier, we asked you guys, how are you balancing what is an epic night potentially in Kansas City? We've got Royals and Chiefs on at the same time. If you're a bar owner, how are you handling that in your bar? You got a massive setup if you're just somebody at home. We took your calls and texts a little bit earlier. I want to hear from you guys again coming up in a bit. But let's talk Chiefs for a second. Thinking of offense, thinking of options, we know the injury stuff at the wide receiver spot with Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice not available for maybe all year. We'll see now. And tomorrow I think we'll get clarity on the Rice knee scope and everything. Are we sure, though, 100% that Xavier Worthy is just the number 2 option behind Kelsey? I'm not. I think
for tonight's game or for
tonight? Yeah, because later on in the year, that's the hope that he is. He's the number 1 receiver with him out. For tonight, though, I think it's the Kelsey, Kareem Hunt, Justin Watson, 1, 2, 3 of production.
I think it's those two.
Okay.
I agree with Kelsey and Kareem Hunt. I think it's probably Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm not going to be surprised if Justin Watson has a role in this offense. He already had a role in this offense, and that was before Rashee Rice went down. Justin Watson is maybe the best receiver on the team at getting open in the 15 to 20 yard mark. I don't know what it is about that range. He's not an innings eater, right? He doesn't get 92 targets a game or whatever, but he is really good at finding the spot on the field where he is 15 to 20 yards down the field, and he is the big play guy outside of Xavier Worthy on this team. I think that they're going to have to find a guy, absent Kelsey, that can get targets, mass targets. And I feel like the only guy on this team who has ever proven an ability to do that is Juju Smith-Schuster. McColl's never done that. Sky's never done that. Worthy's never done that. The only guy on this entire roster, as it sits right now, who is proven to be a target monster outside of Travis Kelce, who will get his, is Juju Smith-Schuster. So I think for the foreseeable future, he becomes their de facto number one, is how I assume it will play out. You know why I like this, though, is we don't actually know. Andy Reid has talked about this before and other coaches, and Patrick Mahomes actually talked about it at the podium. When the injury happens in the middle of the game, you just start throwing things at a wall and seeing what sticks in the middle of the game. When you have a whole week to prepare, you decide what the roles are, who's in what role and who goes where. So this game will be more telling than last game about who they're going to use in the absence of Rashee Rice.
For sure. I would also say that that's why even 3 weeks from now, I think it's different. I mean, they're going into a bye week after tonight. So after tonight, it could change altogether as well. But for tonight, the reason why I think it's Watson, it is the opportunity to go down the field, other than Worthy. I also think we saw last year play out when they really had some issues at the wide receiver spot. We saw it play out for a little bit. Justin Watson was getting quite a few targets. Juju wasn't around at that point. Juju was close to 1,000 yards 2 years ago. I think Watson and Smith-Schuster are both capable. It's 3rd and 7. You can't get it to Kelsey. Who do you trust to be right at the sticks? Yeah, I think those are both candidates for that. I'm just saying productivity, when we look at the final yardage tonight, it would not surprise me if it's Kelsey 1, Watson 2, Kareem Hunt 3. I'm not even saying targets. You might be right. Juju gets more targets.
I think it might be more catches for less yards for Juju and less catches for more yards for Watson for the same reason I just mentioned, where they just have to – they're like combined one decent wide receiver. They actually possess different skill sets based on this offense.
Do you think that we could see the Chiefs knowing where they're at depth chart-wise at the tight end spot? We know Jody Fortson is back, elevated as well, right? And he's on the active roster. So you've got Wiley and Gray and Kelsey and Fortson. Are they having 4 active tight ends? Are they going to go
I think there's a chance Wiley isn't active.
Yeah. So you have 14 personnel would be 3 tight ends, a running back, and a wide receiver. I don't think they're going to do that in the middle of the field, but like in the red zone, maybe.
Here's where I don't think you elevate Jody Fortson to the active roster. He's not going to be active. So I think it's more likely Wiley's inactive than Jody Fortson.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I think that the area you're talking about, the red zone, is why it's going to be more important. The Chiefs know they're not going to move the ball as well on offense this year as they'd originally hoped, which makes the red zone even more important. How do we make sure that for the drives that are going successful for us, they end in 6 and not 3? I think that's where you're going to start seeing more, maybe to someone's chagrin, more Andy Reid big sets or Andy Reid creative play calling. They're going to have to try to find some things that work specifically down there. They haven't been a very good red zone team over the last couple of years. It's been about 3 years the last time that they were a good or above average red zone team. If there are going to be less opportunities because of the personnel you have at wide receiver, well, then you have to maximize the opportunities when you get there. I think it becomes all the more important.
We know Kareem Hunt's the starting running back tonight, as he should be, based off of how he looked. Also, Carson Steele fumble. But it wouldn't be like, can't you envision a scenario where they go old school I form and Carson Steele is lined up actually at fullback and Kareem Hunt is behind him?
That'd be fun.
Carson Steele fullback, Kareem Hunt as the tailback, and see what you can get off of that.
Yeah,
and put that on film a little bit. I think that's an opportunity tonight.
Kareem Hunt has been a consistently good red zone guy. Carson Steele looks like he'd be a good red zone guy too. His biggest problem is holding on to the football.
Instead of getting that extra half yard, just holding the football.
I did just double check to make sure that nothing is updated. Currently for tonight, I still cannot bet on Jody Fortson to get a touchdown. Cowards!
It should be like
cowards.
He should be 17 or 20 to 1 to get a touchdown.
Noah Gray is 20 to 1. He's plus 2,000. Samaje Perine is 22 to 1.
Well, by that, then Fortson should be 25, 26.
Maybe 30 to 1, yeah. McCardman is 35 to 1.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Oh, wait, maybe that's first touchdown. That's first touchdown. I'm sorry.
Anytime. I would say there's anytime touchdown.
Sorry,
Wiley's 12 to 1.
Oh, hold on. Wait. Just updated. Not kidding. Just updated. Jody Fortson is first touchdown plus 8,000. Anytime touchdown, 20 to 1.
He's 80-1 to have the first touchdown tonight.
Yeah, plus 8,000.
80-1 for a first touchdown.
You guys want to put $5 of show money on it? I mean, I know it's just a stupid throwaway
My issue,
bet.
Cody, is
this is the most throwaway $5 of
I don't know
all
how
damn
many.
time.
We might be waiting until the 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. I don't know if we're seeing many touchdowns tonight.
$5 to win 400. Who wants a piece of this action?
Mean, I'm just saying though.
He's plus 8,000, dude, to be the first touchdown.
Yeah, Carson Steele at fullback, Kareem Hunt at running back, Jody Fortson and Kelsey in at tight end. Play action to Kareem Hunt. Lob one up in the corner to Jody Fortson wide open.
Like, are we sure they just activated? Look, there's one thing that is undeniable the entire time that Jody Fortson has been a member of this team, and that it is that whether you like it or not, he has targeted Jody Fortson in the red zone a disproportionately high number compared to the other times he is targeted, right? Like, he is targeted more in the red zone than any other place on the field, and you and I at least know that. Like, it's probably a throwaway bet, but he is 80-1. So, if you're looking for a first touchdown scorer,
he's not on FanDuel right now.
Well, I went to a different site.
Okay,
I know you're a supporter of FanDuel, and I respect you for that.
Right.
But I have to. I don't currently endorse anyone, and I went line shopping.
FanDuel upped their game, man. If you have not signed up for FanDuel, you heard me earlier. $300 in bonus bets. Instead of not just $250 or $200.
Signed up.
I know.
I don't think they want me.
I still am looking at the name. Bub means still. You know what Bub means. 19-1 to get a touchdown tonight for the Saints. Who the hell is Bub means?
I have personally placed a $5 wager on Jody Fortson for the first touchdown
Why not?
to win 405. I'm in. Know that I'll be a happy man if Jody Fortson somehow finds the end zone first. The only problem again with the first touchdown of the Chiefs is they always kick. And they have let up points a ton on the
Jody
first drive.
Fortson scores a touchdown, we're going to get another one of those tweets from you. Like a Bobby Witt home run, like you had earlier. You're going to get one. We're going to get one of those.
I post some questionable stuff on social media sometimes. I'm not denying that. Yeah, maybe.
Up next, we're going to get to what's trending, and then we'll get to our predictions for two games. How do we see this Chiefs-Saints game going, and how the heck do we see the Royals Game 2 going tonight? That's coming up next here at 96.5 The Fan.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
The Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and our two soccer teams, the Current and St. Louis City SC, are all endorsing Amendment 2. Here's why you should support it too. Right now, Missouri sports fans are taking their money and placing their bets in Kansas and Illinois. We're losing our money to other states, money that could be invested in our schools. Amendment 2 fixes that. By legalizing sports betting, Amendment 2 will generate over $100 million for Missouri schools over the next 5 years. And there's a strong constitutional guarantee ensuring the revenue from sports betting will go to education. Kansas and Illinois know sports betting is a winner for their fans and taxpayers. It's time for Missouri to get into the game. Amendment 2 means over $100 million for Missouri schools. Join the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, Current, and St. Louis City SC in supporting Amendment 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
We hear a lot from our patients after we've successfully treated their erectile dysfunction. But one thing we hear the most is, why didn't I get treated sooner? This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with ED and all the emotional and relationship problems it causes, don't wait. Call us today. ED is simply a medical condition like any other, and for most men, it's fully treatable, which means you can get your sex life back. And I'm not talking about sex that's just okay, by the way. I'm talking about good sex with the ability to enjoy intimacy without the anxiety that affects so many men who have ED. In fact, you might find you're performing like you haven't in years. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated thousands of men with protocols that are successful in well over 90% of cases. And we have a variety of treatments and treatment combinations so you can get the one that's right for you. So stop waiting and call us. Your first visit includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey everyone listening in Kansas City, this is Chris Hodge, the longtime host of Sports Investors Daily, which airs every Saturday and Sunday. We have a bonus free pick for you tonight between New Orleans and Kansas City. All you have to do is text the word WIN to the number 545454. Text the word win to the number 545454. You get New Orleans, Kansas City automatically sent back to you absolutely free. And I know there's a lot going on with Kansas City right now. The whole world cries every time they win a game. I deal with that too, so I understand it, because every time I win, people are like, this can't be real. But it is, and it's been real for 19 years. So text the word win to the number 545454. Get New Orleans, Kansas City Monday night absolutely free via text message. Once again, text the word win to the number 545454 and get this free winner.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small Frosty for $1. And literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get a $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for a second. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic Frosty for $1, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third-party delivery.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Keep it twisted all year long with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Twisted Tea is real iced tea that packs a punch with 5% alcohol. Tastes great at the beach, the mountains, or even in your backyard. Look for the bright yellow Twisted Tea cans.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Wow, honey, have you seen the electric bill?
Yeah, it's out of control. But have you heard of Navien tankless water heaters?
Tankless? How does that even work?
Well, instead of constantly heating and storing water, it only heats water when we need it. So much more efficient than our giant tank heater.
That sounds great. Let's look into Navien.
Already on it.
Imagine all the hot water you need only when you need it. Bulky tanks are history. Navien high-efficiency tankless is the future. Compact, wall-hung units free up floor space, lower energy bills, longer life than tanks, and a 15-year warranty. Find out more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Visit eatandys.com to find the location nearest you. Top your day with a smile.
Let me tell you about my good friend Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from Kansas City, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Tailgate with a pick six, or grab a freshly made custom treat before or after a game. And tell him Mitch and Andy sent you.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. What's trending?
Number one, well, we got a busy night in sports here in Kansas City. Started with the Royals ALDS Game 2. That'll be over on the Fan AM 610. Vern's on Deck show, 5:30. First pitch, 6:38. Cole Ragans on the mound against Carlos Rodon. The Royals slight underdogs again tonight. You're probably not surprised by that. Remember, it's best of 5 series trying to even this thing up before they come back to Kansas City on Wednesday. And if they even it up, it would guarantee we would get Wednesday and Thursday at Kauffman.
So the Padres even up their series last night, so anything's possible. Of course, that means next up what's trending is the Chiefs are playing Monday Night Football tonight against the 2-2 New Orleans Saints, the return of Tyronn Mathieu, and first time they've seen Derek Carr in a little bit of time as well. They'll be at Arrowhead tonight. Obviously, normal 7:15 Monday Night Football kickoff. You'll see, if you want some advice or want to give some advice, look like Jason Kelsey was looking for a Chiefs tailgate to hit today over on social media, so go hit him up. Let him know where you're going to be he loves to party, so you might as well help him out. Let him know where to be.
He'll have no problem finding a good tailgate out there.
In Kansas City? Yeah, on Monday Night Football?
Yeah, and tailgates where if you got the TV, I mean, you're going to be out there hanging in the parking lot a little bit longer, maybe watching the Royals game in your nice tailgate setup that you have there. Next up on What's Trending, you mentioned the Dodgers and Padres. That series is evened up. They're going to play tomorrow. That'll be the late game after quite the intensity in that particular matchup.
Yeah, but they don't regret making those prime time.
And Mets tomorrow as well. That series tied at a game apiece. And then here in about less than 2 hours, it'll be the Guardians and Tigers. Cleveland currently owns a 1-0-0 lead. They beat up on the Tigers. They jumped on them with 5 runs in the first inning.
Then it was over.
And then the Tigers get Skubal, though, tonight. I mean, they're potentially to save their season. If Skubal were not to get a win, it's hard to imagine the Tigers not getting swept, in my opinion.
Next up on What's Trending, a little industry news, or where you at least get your NBA news. Shams is now set to join ESPN after Woj had retired just a few weeks ago. There were some rumors that Jeff Passan might try to switch sports. In order to do it, I saw he sent out a tweet that was just the same one. It's just the Leo saying, "I'm not leaving," the same thing. So he'll continue to cover Major League Baseball. Shams will jump over to ESPN. I think he was with FanDuel previously. Will now cover them for ESPN. He's the second biggest newsbreaker in the NBA, second to Woj, where they were co-number ones. So smart of ESPN to just get the guy who's already doing the job.
That is What's Trending here on Cody and Gold. Again, as we said there, pregame coverage, Chiefs football starts today at 4 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. The Royals are going to be over on The Fan AM 610 with Vern's on Deck show at 5:30. So you're home for Kansas City sports. What a day to have everything all in one spot with postseason baseball and a big Monday Night Football game out at Arrowhead this evening. So let's start with the Royals, and we'll wrap up with the Monday Night Football game. Starting with the Royals this evening. One, I'm curious, and you guys can text in or call in 913-586-7965. How are you handling tonight? Because we all know there's
two-screen setup, man.
Two-screen setup if you're staying at home. Maybe you got the tablet, the iPad, or whatever. If you're going to a bar, that's why I said I want to hear from a bar owner earlier. Somebody texted in that
Kelly's going to play half the audio in each side of the bar.
If you got a big enough bar, you can do that. Otherwise, I think the Royals game has to get audio priority inside of said bar.
Inside of my house, it is.
Yeah, I think that's the way you got to lay this thing out tonight when you balance it. And then we'll see how the game goes. Hopefully, it's a close game. But if for somehow it's a blowout one way or the other, then maybe you change the audio and all that. But postseason takes priority over regular season from a viewership perspective for me.
The timing is should land pretty close to, just as long as it doesn't go like extra innings, should land pretty close to finish the Royals game, second half of the Chiefs game on audio, right? So you should get a chance to make that transition gold. So, all right, cool. We get that, and then you get to move over to the other side of the game. But I think, yes, I do think you have to, and I don't see any way not to. I do think you have to at least switch that from one until the other and kind of go from there. And so we'll kind of see which way they play it. But that's how I would do it. My plan, I just can't. I'm torn between do I just do the Chiefs from the iPad, or do I physically drag a second TV into my living room just to put both games on?
I think you go to TV.
You think two TVs?
Because the YouTube multi-view, if it lets you do that tonight on the ESPN.
I don't like I want them on their own full big screens.
I agree. I agree with you. That's
Somebody
why
says they're doing multi-screen probably.
That's why I'm going to a bar tonight, because I know on the big main screen they're going to have the Royals, and I assume audio. And then the Chiefs will be on the TVs around it. And if it gets out of hand, it can switch. But that's where I'm headed tonight.
I got tempted by the bar because, I understand your thought is well, they're just doing the multi-screen thing for me. I don't have to drag a second TV in. This isn't like the NCAA tournament, right? They're just there. Both games are on. Everybody's watching them together. But my kids have a little bit of activity stuff tonight. And I'm going to be gone, hypothetically, Wednesday and Thursday night, right? Because if there's games at Kaufman, you and I are covering those games. So, I got enough going on. I was like, no, I want home base. Home base for this game, for both games tonight, so that I could give them the proper attention that they deserve. But it's just between iPad and the other split screen for me.
913-586-7965. That's the Jay Southland Tozer text line. Also, you can call in. Someone says their wife informed them last night to move the bedroom TV to the rec room downstairs. We're now set up for both games. Bourbon to the right. Draft need in the shop. Draft need.
Something's cut off there.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Draft beer, he said. Damn it. Sorry.
Gosh. Okay. I was like, that makes a little more sense. Yes. Someone says, currently sprinting to finish my route to make it home before the game's doing a little TV setup.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Did any of you guys start your day early or just like...
Yeah, did you get in an hour early?
It's hard sometimes because you can't count on playoff baseball. You might have taken this day off knowing the Chiefs were playing, I guess. But normally it's hard. Like, does anyone have the flexibility or like, I can just start at 4 a.m. and I can be done long before I need to. That way I can drive out to the stadium early. Because that's the other part. If you're in the game, if you're going to Arrowhead tonight, I want to know the person who's going to Arrowhead tonight but is convinced they're just going to watch the Royals game on their phone for the first half of a football game.
I think there's a lot of people do. I was invited to go to the Chiefs game tonight.
Free ticket?
Free ticket, very nice seats.
Very nice seats, free ticket, you passed, huh?
Yeah, nice club level seats. I passed because
must be nice.
it's a little bit
turn that down.
I think it's a little bit different for you and I too. I want to, but I also have to watch both.
You have to talk about both.
You know
and
what I mean?
consume both. Yes.
Tomorrow, if I was not leading my show and our show, I should say, tomorrow with probably the Royals, no matter what is happening, then I would. But I don't want to be at the Chiefs game and then be trying to check the score and only care about that for the first hour and a half of the Chiefs game. So that's why I passed on it. Trust me, I normally would never have said no to those tickets for a Monday Night Football game too. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
But
kidding.
unique circumstance that we're in right now.
Someone says radio, front porch, front TV, back TV. So some people are going the radio approach. They're just going to tune into the Royals game on the radio because that's a great way to consume baseball, obviously. And then they'll catch the football game on TV and figure out that way. You can go double radio if you want. Anybody doing double radio?
Yeah.
We've got a 96.5 The Fan, the Chiefs game, pregame coverage starting at 4. Over on 610 a.m. The Fan, you've got the Royals game. You could double radio it.
Someone's more talking about not leaving work early today, but they're already working ahead. They want to be recovered tomorrow. So they're taking tomorrow off because they would have to start at 4:30. So they get to enjoy today. Yeah, tomorrow, if you win, we're all running on adrenaline tomorrow. If the Royals and Chiefs handle their business, we're on full adrenaline tomorrow. Everybody's feeling good. If they were to split or both lose, then everybody's going to be, let's call it like it is. Everybody's going to be in a bad mood tomorrow.
They lose both.
You're going to be irritated tomorrow. Very little thing will set you off tomorrow. And someone will text in a second like, you shouldn't let sports dictate your life. Look, we're all sports fans. This is a big deal for the city.
I've also chosen my career based on that, so I really don't have a choice.
Yeah, because every time I say that, someone's like, we always get one text and someone's like, Gold, you shouldn't let it really affect your mood. Well, it does. It does.
I mean, the other part is, like, it affects my mood less probably than it used to, I would say, more and more every day. Part of that is because the team and the city have done significantly more winning here lately on the Chiefs' end, and the Royals do have a championship in my lifetime, even though it was years of ineptitude. But I've, you get older and other things matter to you in life sometimes. But it's also like my job and like it's both at once. So it has a chance to like doubly impact your day, your mood, your week, what you're in, like Vern said. I also like him. I want to go into Wednesday Stadium, not with nervous, there'll be energy no matter what, but not with nervous energy.
Right. You don't want to witness a sweep.
Not walking into the K being like, please don't let this be the last game of the season. I can't do that. I don't want to watch it in tonight. I can't watch it in tonight. Versus you walk into that thing 1-1, series knotted up on Wednesday. I think the energy is we're out for blood. We're coming to get you now. I just think they come in with different. Chiefs lose going into a bye week. I'll be kind of bummed because I'll be like, oh boy, look at all these wide receiver injuries finally catching up. That one's less likely to affect my mood than the Royals one. But if they both lose, I'm miserable.
Yeah, because I don't want to see Aaron Judge throw his glove up in the air and celebrate on Kauffman Stadium's field. F that. I don't need to see that on Wednesday or Thursday. Thank you very much.
No.
How do you think? Let's get to our
game predictions.
Game predictions for both the Chiefs and the Royals.
Officially sponsored by Volkswagen of Lee Summit, where you can choose your offer, including 0% APR for up to 60 months. That's what I did with my Volkswagen. But what do you want to do? Royals or Chiefs first?
Let's start Royals. Look, we said it about Cole Ragans. For the Royals to win tonight, Cole Ragans has to also be given the opportunity to be Cole Ragans. And I'm saying that I don't care if it's 5 1/3 inning into the game and there are 2 men on and nobody out or 1 man out or one guy out. You need to leave Cole Ragans in this baseball game tonight.
He has to.
He's your horse. He's your horse. He's pitched like it. The only reason why he left after 6 innings earlier last week was because he was cramping, and we were joking about the IV stuff earlier. I'm serious. Like the cramps cannot be a problem tonight. If Cole Ragans pitches the way I think he's going to pitch, he's pitching into the 7th inning tonight. He's giving you at least 6 1/3, 6 2/3 of an inning. It shortens the bullpen. I think the Royals do win tonight. I don't imagine Bobby Wood Jr. going 0 for 5. I also don't think Aaron Judge is going 1 for 4 or whatever it was, 1 for 5. I think the Royals win 4-2 tonight.
I think the Royals win too. I still think there's more runs on the board for both of these teams. Yankee Stadium just kind of invites some of these runs to be scored. I'll take the Royals 6-4. Maybe it's just because of one game in Yankee Stadium and the offense found something. But I think between the bottom of the order being more productive, the idea that they will go a more righty-heavy lineup, and the fact that they've, as historically, gotten to Carlos Rodon a decent amount as an organization, I'm going to take the Royals tonight in kind of a run score fest. 6-4. I think Ragans gives up a couple of those. The bullpen gives up a couple because very few bullpens are perfect. Matter of fact, those runs the Royals bullpen gave up in this last one was the first ones they'd given up in the postseason. Bound to happen eventually. But I also think the Royals win. I think the biggest reason they win is Cole Ragans. He's an ace. Aces have been really good in the postseason this year. He already gave me the confidence to say he knows how to show up in the biggest moments. He was in a wild card game. He was in what felt like a do or die game based on the wild card's recent history of who wins game one in these 3-game series. He was on the road and he pitched great. Hell, he should have pitched longer had he not suffered from the cramps. So if that's the case, I'm going to assume that the Royals also get the win. 6-4 though, a little higher scoring than you. You got the Royals tonight, Drew?
Yep, 5-3. I think Ragans is gonna have a good one. The meat of the lineup will be better than in game one. 5-3, Royals.
913-586-7965. Tell us your predictions for the Royals. And then how about the Chiefs tonight? Monday Night Football taking on the Saints. We all know about the injuries going into this one.
I kind of was feeling like it was a loss. I told you as early as you might remember, like off air, I was like last week, I was like, I don't know, man. I'm just like starting to get a bad feeling around the game. But the Saints are missing just enough players. And here's the thing where I can't get past. We're like, I thought I was going to choose the Chiefs to lose this week. Not just to be contrarian, because before the bye week, the injuries piling up, there just felt like a lot of things working against him for this week's game. And I've seen him lose primetime games to Derek Carr before weirdo stuff happens. The thing I can't shake is I still don't think Dennis Allen is a good coach. And now the Saints are missing players. And they're not playing good football. So not playing good football, they're missing key players, and Dennis Allen's an idiot. And if those are my 3 combinations, I have a hard time doing it. Now, do I think this game is going to be some easy-peasy cruise on to 30-10 victory for the Chiefs? No. I will take the Chiefs 21-20 and an absolute nail-biter down to the final damn second. Hell, I don't know if it's going to be an extra point in the final second to get there. But I will take them to beat the Saints. I don't think the Chiefs are going undefeated this year. I am going to predict them to lose at some point, probably this season. I just don't think it's the Saints this time. So I'll take them in the win 21-20.
Yeah, maybe we have to parlay our predictions together here between the Chiefs and the Royals. Why not? That might be a move to do as well. Yeah, so the injuries, I'll say with the Saints, so really it's Taysom Hill. I mean, I don't really think they have many other injuries that are actually impacting this particular game. So the Saints are the healthier team. They're on the road. My thing is watching the Saints the last couple of weeks. This is not the same team week 1 and 2 that was putting up 45 points and blew out the Panthers and the Dallas Cowboys in that terrible defense. They're going up against a much tougher defense in Kansas City. I'm with you, though. I think this is close. It's a nail-biter, low-scoring game. The total for the game is low for a reason. I think it goes under the 43.5, right? Barely. 23-20. Chiefs win tonight. I think it's going to be frustrating at times to watch this offense really struggle and not move the ball. And we're going to be saying, man, the defense is playing so well. If the offense could just get one drive, I feel like that's what we're going to be saying throughout this game. I told you earlier that I kind of look at Justin Watson and Kareem Hunt as the two performers that back up Travis Kelce this evening. Sure. I know we want it to be Xavier Worthy, and I hope that's the case because he's the rookie, and that usually means that there's probably a big play involved if it's Worthy. He's got that kind of speed. But I think it's going to be a frustrating game. But I trust this defense, man. I don't believe the Saints offense is anywhere near what we looked at them as in the first couple weeks. They also lost a game 2 weeks ago to a Falcons team, or a week ago to a Falcons team that didn't score a touchdown. So the Chiefs, are going to have to not make mistakes, and we know that's been part of the theme. But I feel good. Kansas City 23-20 over the Saints, and then the Royals 4-2 over the Yanks.
So I've got 2 wins tonight. You've got 2 wins tonight. Drew, you got the Chiefs winning too?
Here we go.
Really? After today, Drew? After everything we went through today?
Go ahead.
This has nothing to do with anything else that's come up earlier in the show.
Unrelated.
Other than what you just said, is that it feels like one of those games where it's not necessarily a trap game, but you're going into the bye, you're dealing with all the injuries. I think they catch up to them a little bit. It's going to be an uglier game. I think the Saints win 24-17.
Saints 24-17.
Yeah.
Saints are getting 24.
Drew will come in with a Derek Carr jersey tomorrow out of nowhere.
I will not.
Drew's going to have a Derek Carr jersey, half Derek Carr, half AJ Green Bengals jersey.
I will not.
Of course, our predictions are brought to you by VW Lee Summit. Go to VWLeeSummit.com. Look, I'm not saying the game won't be close. Like,
I think we all did for the most part. I guess his is a little wider margin.
That's going to be the case, but playoff baseball is always close. I mean, I understand that somebody can just blow each other out every once in a while, and that does occur, but look at what the playoffs have been so far. They've, in my opinion, have mirrored what the regular season was, Gold. A lot of good teams, no great teams. Teams battling back and forth. I don't think the Yankees are head and shoulders better than the Royals, so I don't think that they're going to get 3 games in a row against the Royals, which means I think they're winning tonight, and then we get to reopen this series with 3 games left to play and the Royals being the home team. If the Royals win tonight, do you think they're winning the series? Does it matter how they win tonight for you? If they win tonight, do you think they're winning? If they lose tonight, you obviously think they're losing the series.
I do.
Think it'd be hard to imagine it's not that way. If they win tonight, do you think they're winning it? Or do you think it's more 50-50?
Yeah, no, if they win tonight, I think they're winning the series because it's a split, and then you have a chance for 2 games that you can you could clinch.
You could decide right on your own field, hypothetically.
And still the pitching edge that I believe they have once you get deeper into the Yankees bullpen or Yankees rotation. And let's not forget, Garrett Cole. The Royals saw Garrett Cole well. I know ultimately they didn't get the punch to the mouth that we all would have liked to have seen, but they were seeing Garrett Cole well. So whenever he's scheduled to pitch again, what would that be, on Thursday, I guess, if this thing got to a 4th game? Is that correct? If I'm doing my math right, Garrett Cole would be pitching on Thursday. So that, to me, is why I would have faith. But you have to have tonight, because otherwise I just don't believe the Royals are winning 3 in a row. Can they win a game or 2? Will they get? I don't think the Royals are getting swept necessarily if they lose. But if you think the Royals are winning the series, I do believe tonight is one you got to have.
I think so. I think the momentum completely changes if you win this one tonight. And then you get to go Lugo and Waka at home with a chance to go get the series. I mean, and maybe it still does take till Saturday to go get it. But, I mean, you got to win 2 out of the next 3 versus 3 out of the next, 3 out of the next 4, and a million things have to go your way. And or not that many, but like so many problems could be caused by losing this one tonight. I believe in Ragans.
Do you have a bold prediction for the game? Like, we gave our prediction, like what's something I told you I think the Royals are hitting at least 2 home runs tonight.
Ooh. Cole Ragans has 10+ strikeouts.
Okay, well, that bodes very well for the Royals. I hope you're right.
Yankees strike out, man.
Yeah.
They strike out a lot.
Royals
Cole Ragans strikes people out a lot.
2 Royals home runs. Ragans at least goes 7.
Ooh, man. Well, that sounds like a Royals win.
It would be a win. If you told me Ragans went 7 and they had 2 home runs and didn't win, I'll be devastated if that's the case. Yeah.
Yeah. That feels like it.
Someone on the text line says they're going with a Royals win 5-2, Chiefs win 20-7. Yeah, trust the Chiefs defense. A 14-point win would be something. 14-point win would be something.
Someone says a Royals and Chiefs money line parlay for both to win plus 230.
Okay.
So you just want to go straight win-win, you know?
Let's hope so, man. Special night, hopefully, in Kansas City. Monday Night Football pregame coverage begins at 4 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. We mentioned 5:30 over on The Fan, AM 610. Vern's On Deck show, 5:30. Get you set for that 6:38 first pitch. Huge night. Hopefully, we're celebrating a little bit tomorrow and getting ready for the Royals to come back to Kauffman Stadium on Wednesday with the series evened up at a game apiece. Hope you guys have a great rest of the night. We're back at it tomorrow, 10 to 2.